Hello, everyone, and welcome to a wild Monday. I hope you're ready for volatility because, of course, the VIX is coming in at something that most of us did not suspect. Flash crash 87 style vibes coming in this morning with a 50 VIX not seen since the pandemic of 2020. I hope everyone is staying safe this weekend. It is red across the board. We've obviously moved down to some significant numbers. We're going to see semiconductors today hit key levels. We've got the stock market crashing into 5,200, even a little bit lower here. Nasdaq's down 4.5%. And yeah, it gives you those vibes of a flash crash. So how this ends up coming out, even copper, which I thought was bottoming just before or possibly showing a bottom, that actually dropped 4.4% in just the last couple of hours. So some pretty wild moves, and we need to talk about it. Today, we'll be going through stocks, commodities, and cryptos. I hope everyone's ready. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed content. We are starting here earlier, so really appreciate that. But yeah, quite a lot of interesting trades and certainly a lot to discuss. We'll go through whether this is capitulation. We put out a video that I'd encourage everyone to go and have a look at as well if you're new to the channel or you haven't seen it before. We checked out a video. There's going to be some levels that have already been hit in that video, but one thing's for sure is that we did share some data that I want to talk about today, and yeah, there's a lot going on. So let's start off with where all of this is really showing up. It's showing up, of course, in the yen coming down to a key level. We're seeing it also in the Japanese Nikkei. So the Nikkei getting absolutely hammered in the overnight session in the US, but reaching a very critical point, which is, of course, around that most traded level. This is now down into technical bear market zone, guys. 27% drop. And we dropped literally today. So just today, we went from here to here, which is a drop of 11.66% between the high and the low. Could we be getting a halt today in the US where we hit like a 7%? It's possible, I guess, but we'll go through that moment. Let's give a shout out to people that are joining us here early. We've got Bale, we've got Peru, Andrew, Silverson, Chris, Richard, Brian, Silver Hot Dog, John Nee, Andrew, Andy Production, Sup Fellas, Bob, and many, many others. Thank you very much for joining us here today, guys. All right. So let's talk about this Japanese currency, or Japanese currency, and of course the Japanese market to start off with. A lot of people are saying, is this the worst thing we've ever seen, or is this the crash of the 90s over again? It definitely is a flash crash. There's no doubt this is extremely positioned to the downside. And it really is kind of like that symptomatic of a margining kind of style run. So everyone panics, a lot of people get margined out, and the market pushes into effectively what we call capitulation. So have we seen capitulation? Now, I want to ask you guys that before we go through. So let's actually do a poll here to start off. Yes, the poll will be on, we're broadcasting both X and YouTube here, but it will be on YouTube, but I'll let you guys know on X what the poll is. So welcome to everyone that's on X. Let's do it. Have we seen peak selling? Here we go. Yes or no? It's that simple. Let us know. What do you think? Do you reckon we're at that low right now? Almost 100 likes as well. Thank you very much, guys. And make sure to sign up for the newsletter this week because I'll be popping one tomorrow. So at the close of today, probably the next day as well, if necessary, if we do end up seeing a nice pickup by the market. Let's say we do get bid. We've got no bid at the time of this recording, except for on the Nikkei. If we do get bid, then we'll be mentioning it. All right, let's go through each one of these markets as we wait for your response. First up, we'll go US 500, often considered one of the most important markets. One of the data stats that we'll look at in a moment was that we saw that during a tantrum of basically where we usually expect the Federal Reserve to do a rate cut, we get about a 7 to 8% drop. Now we're at 8.67% low as of this morning. So the real market hasn't hit that. The futures has hit that. So 8.7-ish%. Now, this is interesting because, of course, when I shared that data with us, like when we were talking about before, that was kind of like that idea that we were going to see, and I'll show it to you here. Where is that data? Here it is. So basically, this is showing that 2 months before we get a rate cut, so pretty much now assured that we're going to get a rate cut, the market in several circumstances fell significantly. 8% here in 1970s, and during 1998, we ran 7%. Then, in every one of these major cases, except for this one here in 84, we ended up actually eking out a little bit of a positive. So what that was showing is some form of dip buy came in. 1 month after, horribly negative during that month. So again, very bad across the board. But in non-recession, this is very important. Remember, it is non-recession within the next year. We don't know that yet. Depending on which path these markets take, we will figure out whether we're in a recession or not. But in non-recession years, we do end up seeing that kind of buy the dip hold through. Got some NVIDIA news coming this way as well. I want to go to this chart. Let's talk about this one. Good chart here. I'll put in the close video. It is basically showing oversold. Capitulation is here, guys. So if you look at this, and I haven't got your vote yet, no is 65%. Why I say capitulation is here, because we have gone below, and this was taken, remember, not today. This was taken last week, this particular data here from Bank of America. Guess what? We've gone into the twilight zone. So basically, we are so low now that if you look at this during other sell-off periods, this is 2022, so 2021-22 area, have a look when we hit these types of levels. Capitulation here, hit this low. That was the bottoming effect of the market. Let's just go through each one. One here, all right? So let's just line up as best we can. Was that the bottom? No, it kept trashing itself, all right? So not definitely guaranteed or anything. Then we go one over here. Let's have a look. Drawing the best lines I can. Close to the bottom. So definitely near that capitulation. Didn't hit over here, even though, again, we take a look. So we've got one kind of good read. We'll read this one as well. That's a good read for a bounce. And this one here, let's have a look. That one looks pretty good as well. So we've got one, pretty good. Two, pretty good. Three, very close to the low. This one, disaster. Kept going down. This one, four. So we've got one bad one there. We've got four good ones, five good ones. We've got six good ones. You can tell that's a good one. And then no ones until now. So we have many, many hits of this oversold. Now, what this basically is, it's the 3-month VIX relative to the VIX itself. And then this is oversold. So this is going to be basically flatlining. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like a heartbeat, but the heartbeat's gone. It'll be all the way down in the lows here. Very, very, very oversold. So it is clear capitulation. It's clearly some form of flash crash here that can last for a few sessions. Now, also, we saw that information from Fundstrat coming out. Obviously, they are very optimistic. But look, I get this kind of feeling, and I guess I want to talk to you guys about it here. This is why we're starting so early, because there's so much to go through. When we're looking at these markets right now, are we seeing a point where basically the market is not only just so oversold, but it's having a freak out about a recession that we don't even know is necessarily coming on pretty good news? Remember, we've had decent earnings. We do not have, as far as I know, someone can let me know, a credit crisis. Now, the credit crisis that could be there is, of course, Japan. So there are a few reasons. I want to go through the reasons that I think we're selling off here. Number one, of course, we've got the W word. But that seems to be maybe dissipating as we speak right now. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Number two, we have, here we go. There's a question coming in here. Says, market is throwing a tantrum. This is from Chris. This isn't the actual market drop, folks. Oversold, there's no such thing. Selling can keep happening, says Timothy. Interesting point. I mean, of course it can, but this points towards if you get market action. Remember, we have no structural bid. We'll look at that soon. We have no structural bid on these markets yet, so we don't even know it's the low, that's for sure, because the markets have fallen to good levels, but they haven't found any structural bid. So we've got the W word. The second one is, of course, going to be the potential crisis within Japan and what's going on there. All right, so that's certainly one. The third one is going to be a tantrum thrown basically from, wait a second, we have kind of weak jobs news. We need rate cuts, and we need them now. The news of this morning is, by the way, 60% plus chance of a rate cut over the next week. If that happens, something's very wrong. I don't think that's going to happen. Do you guys think that's going to happen? 60% rate chance. Number four, there's some other reasons here. People think that it's because of that indicator, which we went through on the weekend. Now, do I think it's the indicator? No, I don't think the indicator has anything to do with it. So we can wipe that one off. But really, it's these main 3 points that I think are the big ones. And in general, positioning. So if we go to number 5 here, CTAs were hugely long. Pensions got in. They're not really there to purchase at the moment. So generally speaking, we were seeing huge overbought markets with a lot of calls in them. All right. We were sitting there for months and months and months and months and months and months with tons and tons of calls. And this is what kind of happens on markets. We'll show you the stat in a moment. So again, this is a very interesting chart. I highly suggest take a little picture of it. Recognize that yes, there is some edge when you're oversold or overbought, and in the positioning anyway, another oversold signal. We'll close the poll now. We have, according to you guys, 64% of you believe that we are nowhere near the lows and we could keep selling. 470 votes, yes. 35%. Should probably look up circuit breakers. Yep. So certainly circuit breakers are getting hit in some areas of the market. Now, of course, we haven't seen a circuit breaker since 2020. For anyone that traded in 2020, we got about 3 circuit breakers, if I remember rightly. There were quite a few each day, and it was getting absolutely wild during that point here. All right, let's read some of the chat while we wait for talking about the next point here. The Bank of Canada has already cut twice. Not sure what J-Dog is waiting on from Kevin here. Universal using the W word there. We says most likely compounded from Japan, revised NFP all lower, and the Middle East tensions. Good time to hold LMT. And gold doesn't agree with W. Fair. Okay. Not going to go. We're cut in the next week from Vincent A here, and we haven't seen capitulatory volume indices till probably today. That is pretty much true here. I like that Japan is CrowdStrike of global markets thesis. Okay, there's an interesting thesis there. Daniel, I don't know what you're needing there, but we will go through some key levels for sure. It's because of the yield curves. There's quite a lot of different opinions here. So we're all trying to find a reason for why it is. It's more than likely just a huge unwind. And the question now is it the start of something very bad, or is it just a huge unwind that becomes an opportunity? Yield curve is so close to 1. Yes. So let's have a look at the yield curve just quickly here. This is, of course, a question that we're all looking at, and we're about to do it, probably do it here live today. It looks like we're going to uninvert. Here it is, US 2-year versus 10-year sitting at 1.003. Now, of course, the US 03 MY versus US 10Y. Let's have a look at that one now. That is, 1 second. Oh, that one's not. Why is that going that way? Maybe I put it in wrong. But anyway, basically you can see there the US 02Y versus US 10Y. I'm sure I'm typing in wrong there, guys. But we can see that we are 1.004. So basically we're going to uninvert. And this is a worry. Of course, we know that the bonds market always tends to be correct. And by uninverting the yield curve, we put ourselves on timers. Some people believe that when you uninvert the yield curve, it is inherently recessionary straight away. Some people believe, well, we have 6 to 12 months from that particular point. We have sometimes held through. So we'll bring that stat to you guys when we do see it. 2-year and 3-month are the ones that we want to do. And yeah, this is exactly where you would start to certainly look towards, okay, wait a second, how late cycle are we exactly? Because under 1, that's a big deal. We have not inverted the curve the entire time since we hit it back in 22. One of the longest, if not the longest yield curve inversion of all time. Let's go back over to some of these stats. Some other news that's coming around today. NVIDIA is a Bank of America report basically showing that Blackwell is going to have a bit of problems coming out. It looks like it's going to be delayed until 2025. Bad news on top of bad news. Not really the best there. But if you want to pause the video and you can check that out, there's the read. I thought I'd put that in. Here is S&P 500 intra-year declines versus calendar year returns. Despite the average intra-year drop of 14.2%, annual returns were positive out of 33 out of 44 years. So generally, yes, okay, the markets are positive. Year to date, we're still, doing all right. And we've now, of course, come down to a negative 8% as of today. This is for the S&P 500. So have we seen much worse? Yes. If you've been around in markets for a long enough period, you will have seen this many times over. I'm lucky or unlucky enough to to have joined back in global financial crisis. So I saw what happened then, which was pretty brutal. Of course, the pandemic, some circuit breakers and hits there, and then all the ones in between. Notably, some things that this may be similar to 2018 style crashes, where we saw this huge sell-off but it was followed by a relatively quick pickup. So the way the market reacts here will be important, at least in my opinion. I think the way it reacts is important. Also, here's a chart from Mike Zaccardi over on X if you're interested in following him. Exhibit 6, the rate of layoffs remain at all-time lows. How long this can last is unknown, but layoffs have not picked up massively yet. So, again, is this the most bullish market bearish move? It is possible. Certainly there. Jack says, thank God I hedged my portfolio with TLT on Friday, says Jack. Cool. And Yokai Watches says, Intel to the moon, man. Is that you, Miles? Let me know. It's got to be Miles. I'll give you a thing. Shout out to Miles if it is Miles. Buffett is spooked. Buffett sold 50%. If you're not familiar, Buffett sold 50% of his holdings in, I don't think I've got the article here, but he sold 50% of his holdings, obviously, in Apple, and he's cashed up and ready to go. Though you must remember, Buffett, didn't their fund also buy a huge amount of Nikkei a little while ago? All right, let's go through this market. 5170. We are currently underneath 5200. So my thesis originally was, of course, 5300. This is where I expected to find a bid. We're clearly flash crashing through that. We're about to see a 3% down day open here, which is one of the rarer kind of events that you see. Usually you only have these once every kind of I think it's 300 to 500 days. So pretty rare here, guys. Not that common to see a 3% down, certainly in the market freaking out. And we do not have a bid. And I always need to repeat that. If you want to be a better trader in general, you may have given up a couple of positions here with stop losses and stuff. But generally speaking, you really, really do need to have a replicable approach to the market. So do we have a bid here? No. Why? Because if we go down to the smaller timeframes, let's have a look at the 15 minutes. This is the futures market. We've only seen a little bit of a bid, and then we've dropped back down. So basically what this is doing is it's completely falling through with very little purchasing coming through. Now, this could be the beginning of bid. Don't get me wrong. We have a low. We now have a lower low. Do we have a breach of a high? Do we have any kind of doubling bottom pattern, any kind of head and shoulder style pattern, any kind of what we call lightning bolt style pattern? We haven't got any of these types of things yet. So no bid in the structure means that there's really no chance that you can call this the low just yet. And I think that's important because we're seeing that across most markets except for the Japanese 225. Nasdaq 100 found a little bit on the 5-minute chart. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Let's actually go over to it in a second here. Tom Lee sticking with 150K Bitcoin. Yep, I would say he will stick to that. Nicholas Seibert says Tom Lee sucks. Well, I wouldn't say he sucks, but certainly it's there. Hasn't been doing too well. Also, thank you to the guys that are coming in here and joining us this morning. Subscribe if you enjoy the content. Give it a like. And we'll go through some other points. Kevin says, where's Tesla, Harry? I'm interested to look at Tesla in a moment. We'll go through a lot here. I think Tom Lee was BSing about with the Russell 2K. Fair enough. A lot of people not happy with him today. And L87P bringing some don't panic, stay the course. Fair enough. Still don't think we get a cut until September. So OJ Gary, yeah, I would tend to agree. It seems unlikely they will go and cut, but maybe someone will say some mention or something like that. Nasdaq not finding enough, guys. So yes, this is the 15-minute chart. So you're saying it's finding bid. It's found a little bit of a V, but again, is it putting in enough structure for you to say, oh, wow, this is, an excellent buy or something? One of the strategies that a lot of people use when they're trying to buy, because you're better off, instead of buying the dip, you are technically better off buying the V. So remember, this price over here, you're more likely to get owned. This price over here, you're more likely to do well. Why? The answer is momentum is in your favor. So another little thing that you can do is if you are somebody that goes wild and wants to get into markets, is you can often say, okay, well, I believe I've seen a bid level of something that you might think is important. Let's say you think 17,250 or 17,200 is important. As it comes up, it will often pull back to a 61.8 fit. And at around that point, it becomes, if it just even goes back to that point, remember, the ratio is in your favor. So when you do a ratio trade here, let's say you buy, let's say you put a stop below the low. Okay, fair enough. And then you say you put a break even or a profit here, you're actually trading a 1.42 ratio positive trade. So that's actually not the worst strategy in the world if you believe it is dipped off. And you'll find that that's actually very basic, but it kind of works if you are also picking higher time frame actionable levels. Anyway, let's go through the markets here, guys, as we join up with everything that's going on. We are T minus basically 1.5 hours off the open, a little bit more than that. We've got crypto flailing big time. It's hit a key level. Rena, thank you very much for becoming a new member. Much appreciated. And thank you for that. And yeah, Bitcoin hitting into our most traded zone. So I didn't think Bitcoin would get down to this price again, but it has 51, 52,000. Massive hit for Bitcoin. Massive, massive. Now, if you know your seasonals, we'll put it in the close video today, is basically Bitcoin can actually drive down into September and then rally back up. Now, we just saw someone mention 150K Bitcoin. Is that going to be possible? This is a super level. There's no doubt that this and this are two massive levels for Bitcoin. They're massive, 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 massive. So to hit 42,000, to hit 51.5, these are huge zones. I had that sitting there just as an alert, and I saw it during the Asian session because, of course, I am Australian, and that was huge. So to get that hit on Bitcoin, I think is incredibly significant. And what we're seeing is we're starting to see sync up. Now, if you're not familiar with markets, they are all kind of connected together. In general, you will see many things hit key levels all at once. So let's count them out. Bitcoin, a massive hit at this zone. Let's go 2-hour chart here. Take a look, a little bit of a bounce. Obviously not super spectacular or anything, but you will notice, see the 61.8, guys. So that's what I'm saying. Like if you get this little dip, then it often comes down and gives a little rip off that point. Little bit of a tidbit for you to add into maybe your analysis on top. Not soliciting you go and do anything, guys. But I'm just saying this is a tidbit that you can go. And we've got people here, Nigel, saying, I don't see how BTC doesn't trade 42. Yep. Well, during times like this, it is very easy to get fearful and, of course, think that these markets can keep going down and down and down. It's up to you whether you like the dip or the position-based buy, or whether you're going to be someone that waits for the reaction to that market, waits for that reaction. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum also dipping. Now, this zone, another spectacular zone, just smashed straight into it, got the alert. I was actually shooting the video for you guys during the time. I was like, whoa. my phone lit up because, as I said, the markets are synced. So what happened was we had like Ethereum, Bitcoin, the Nikkei, it all hit at the same time. Even the S&P 5200, they all just went bang, 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 and all of them started syncing together. And I was like, whoa, that means that we're going to get semiconductors at 200, which we'll look at in a moment. So Ethereum nails this level. Now, have we seen a buy off this? A little bit. There's somebody here. Somebody's here. If we had a bookmap open or something like that, we are starting to see somebody trying to get on top of this point here. Tycoon says crowd strike of global markets. Yeah, I see that there. A few people have mentioned that already. Let's have a look at just the sync again with not this market. No, I don't want to do this one. Again, just the VIX 52. Whoa. Yeah, a few people are a bit pissed at me on this one. They're like, I closed my VIX on Friday, man. Look, if you did a good trade and you still got your VIX to 20 or 26 or 29 on Friday, don't cry about it. Remember, the VIX is a horrendous long-term trade. You get burnt, hard time. So 52, yeah, it's pretty nice if you're in a VIX. Anyone holding a VIX contract here today, 124% up? Put your hands up if you're holding it. Let me know. Someone will be holding a VIX. I want to see who's holding the VIX. I'll see it. VIX L87P. ETH went under 2K actually. Yeah, it might be on some exchanges. That's the problem sometimes with these. We are close to peak fear from Gold Rush. Bounce to get people on board again and crash markets again to start the actual rally. That is a very decent technique that they use. So that is a drop into a significant dead cat bounce, into a secondary drop that takes lows, into a rally off that. Very good pattern if that does happen. And this is one of my favorites. If I ever see that and I've got the right signs to it, that is a good buy. It isn't actually a double bottom. What this is a full-on, it is actually the way of an algorithm building the fastest amount of liquidity possible to steal from us, the retail traders. That's how they nick from us. This is a very, very good setup. So if that happened on the markets, yes, we would have to be excited there. Winter is coming. Then 3 years will go up like 5% for all-time high, says GJT. Nobody seems to be holding the VIX. VIX closed too soon. Yeah, fair enough. Put's expensive when VIX is this high. Yeah, put is really expensive. Bank runs soon? I don't think so, but we can speculate on it. Of course, we do need to remember the market. Yes, it's going into a free fall and everything's getting freaked out. But really, we came off a pretty healthy base. We've just gone through earnings. They're not shocking. This could be the chart of the day, guys. It's going to be semiconductors. Let's get rid of this for a moment here. So semis are opening at 200. Does this hold? Chat, does this hold? Let me know. What do you think? Also, thank you to all the people that are coming in. Give it a like if you enjoy the content. We've got over 2,500 of you watching over on YouTube, and I don't know, probably another 1,000 or something over on X. So thank you very much, guys, for the support here. Let's go through semiconductors. This is the chart, I feel. 200, 200, 200. This is a market that has been in an upward trend this whole entire way. Could this change? This is such a huge level. I really feel like this is the chart that a lot of people probably aren't looking at enough. So let's just think about what this really means. We are currently in a bear market bust on semis. We are going to be down 30.76%. Not unheard of. So if you actually go back and look at 2018, we did do something like this before. So let's just quickly go to 2018 over here, because a lot of people don't remember these periods. So this is the 18 bust. Also quite aggressive, by the way, in terms of raw percentage. So we had a raw percentage bust of about 27% during that time on semis. And NVIDIA lost 50% plus of its entire value over this period. So again, it's not unheard of to get pick up. But this is the thing. What we've seen here over the last week and a half, so 1.5 weeks, yeah, is testament to incredibly late cycle style investing. And what I would really take away from this live session, if you get anything, guys, if there's anything that you get away from this, is that this bust is so significant that if we do go to an all-time high after this, which I know a lot of you can't see right now, but it is possible that we go up here. Yeah. Don't forget this. Please snapshot it in your mind, burn it into your eyes, because what's happened here is it's telling you this market is fragile. This market is stuffed. This market is bubbled. And ultimately, if we go to new highs, this is the warning sign that everything is not okay. And it puts us on a timer. This plus yield uninversion plus everything puts us onto the timer we've been talking about for a long time on the channel. We believe it's still further away. I'm going to hope that these things do go well and do end up bouncing through, because you don't really want it to happen now. It doesn't really make sense in some ways. But this 200, let's see what the chat thinks. What do you guys think? Thumbs up, chat. Thank you very much, Astro. Tom, look at the breadth indicator, still quite high. Absolutely, Tortvi. Breadth is still pretty good. But I don't enjoy late cycle investing. Unfortunately, it's the time that we are in, guys. And it's not good for a lot of us, because a lot of us, like, our main demographics, 25 to probably 50. A lot of us don't want to lose our money. Of course we don't. But this is what happens. Every kind of 20 odd years, you get a massive bust late cycle investment. That's why we've been talking about gold, which is down 2% today, but nowhere near as bad. So this level, please mark it. Watch it today. Watch what goes on with semis. I'd expect bid here. I'd like to see bid here, because this will change from a high, low, higher high to a lower low. And if it doesn't instantly find bid buyers here, it basically is changing everything about this market. It's saying, you know what? Yeah, maybe semiconductors, the bubble is over. And if that's true, then that is a big worry. So we'll, of course, update you on this. Make sure to sign up to the newsletter as well. I'll be sending some updates on semiconductors. Do you guys think this is an important chart? What do you guys reckon? Feels too early. I kind of feel it does. Me neither. I'm just sitting short-term trades, waiting it out. Cool. I burned it into my eyes before you said it, Tom. I'm sure a few people did here. The technicals make perfect sense. Yep. And would be an interesting level. Short AMD before market opens. I probably wouldn't be shorting semis into this support, but that's up to you. It would be kind of wild. Whenever you do a short or a long, always have a replication behind it. Look, if you wanted the best short last week, it's when we hit that bear gap level on S&P. That was probably the best short level. Did I go and short it hard? No, I didn't in this case. But It doesn't mean that, I go and sit in there and go, oh, it was terrible. Like, why'd you miss that or whatever? It doesn't really matter because there are some wins. Some of the wins, great trade on gold last week, particularly good trade on treasuries. Let's go to treasuries here for a moment. A lot of people are going to be loving this one. So you'd think treasuries are going to be up more, yeah? But remember, treasuries are going to be on how many yield cuts we get. So at the moment, 0.94%. I don't think you can see that because I'm going over the top of it. But basically 0.94% up, not that much, still in the res. So is there anything safe here today? Well, treasuries are up. Gold was doing pretty well before, but has fallen 2%. So 2.2% down. Let's have a look at gold. Again, just coming back to that 2380 kind of support level. Still very, very strong across the board. Silver is obviously down. Let's have a look at some of these big stocks, though. And then we'll go back over to the rest of the market. Oh, Tesla. Wow, it's almost there. So Tesla down 8.32%. I kind of thought in the video we'd hit a 188 on open and a 200 on the semis. And these are important levels. So if you think about it, 180 to 188 for Tesla, this is exactly where all that big trade stuff started. Remember, we had monster trades in here, monster trades in here and here. And that helped when it broke out for us to go towards this level. Now, we thought that we would get a 200, okay, on this stock. Why? Because once it broke through here, it was probably going to go to the next level of equilibrium. 200, there's no bid there. But today, there is a very real possibility, again, with sinking these markets. Semiconductors, 200. Tesla, 190. Nikkei, big hit. Overall, we're seeing many, many, many hits. Bitcoin, Ethereum, all at key levels. So I wouldn't shorten to the key levels myself, but yeah, good one here. What is your go-to for a recession indicator from Hello World? Generally speaking, it's US 2-year versus 10-year, man. When we get uninversion of yield curve, that is a recession is coming. The thing about this one, and I've said it for a few times here on the channel, is we believe that yes, the US 2-year, 10-year is going to call a recession. Yes, the recession is going to come, but it probably will not happen straight after the uninversion of yield curve. By the way, chat, you guys let me know if it uninverts while we're watching it. So that's the best general indicator that is got the most consistency through it to call a recession. The problem people misinterpret is how much time. Is it 1 month after it happens? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? What I usually look for is another thing, which is I look for a bad sector. So a sector getting crushed. Now, you could say semiconductors is that bad sector. We've seen crush on semiconductors, bear market technically, negative 20%. That's not a good thing. That is usually a bad sign. So it has to find strong rebound pretty much this session, next session, or the session after. If we don't, it's going to be a really big problem. With 2-3 sessions here, we need to get a buy. Look at live price action on anything right now, says Tim. Everything is getting smoked, but 188 over here. You want to see something else? We'll load it up. Let's take a look at oil. That's fallen through to 72, which is back into this red box zone. No bid on oil. No bid, certainly no bid on copper now. Copper fell through. I did not think that was going to happen. I definitely felt like there was a buy somewhere in here. And yeah, that one definitely got left. So unfortunate on copper, but that's trading. Sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose. Replication, did that 100 times. I think I'd win about 70 of them. So yeah, I just do it again. Chinese market holding up pretty well considering. Let's have a look at some of the other big sells. So of course, Buffett sells 50% stake in Apple, not exactly a resounding endorsement for it, but you'll notice that when we do a few analysis tools, let's actually load up Apple and see what's happening. So first up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a few different reads. We're going to get a fib. I always like to do a fib. So the fib's going to point to around a 192. 61.8 fib is pretty popular. This particular 20 moving average, guys, is the main indicator you're often going to use. And then I've got an anchored VWAP just floating through there from ages ago. So I'm going to pull that over to this low here. Now, the reason why I'm going to do that is because really what you're starting to do is you're starting to piece together a bit of a puzzle of if this is going to find a buyer, there was no chance after it goes through 207, it's highly likely to go into this level here, this range. So we've gapped down into the range. We're going to sit around 191 to 198. And that's where you would expect a bid to come through if it's going to. Do we know that yet? No. but this is the level that you would have to, be targeting smaller time frame wise. Let's have a look at Amazon. Amazon is down 7.14% this morning. No real notable good level. Google, one of my favorite stocks in the market, down 5.8%. Actually, not that bad at all. Not even to the 61.8 yet. So 155, again, kind of points towards maybe a little bit more selling is possible there. Nasdaq now down 4.93, so we're about to hit a 5%er. Everything's still capitulating. Still no bids, still no buys, still nothing coming through at the time of this recording, guys. That's all the reds. So it is a sea of red except for the VIX, and that's a big difference to where it was. Usually things happen when you don't expect. Can't say anyone expected this early. Everyone touting mid 2025. Yeah, mid. Oh, well, I didn't think mid 2025. I thought late into 26. But yep, that's certainly a discussion there. GDX getting smoked. GDX will drop because it's still stock, even though it's got to do with gold, so it'll still drop there. Future says, why does this BS have to happen in exactly the year I started investing? Such a ripoff. Well, if you're still in NVIDIA, it'd be up a little bit from the start. But yeah, look, this is everyone's indoctrination to trading, man. Generally, most people come in when it's all crashing and everything's going bad around them. That is pretty normal. We get into it around that time. Is it by the dip time, says Patel? Well, we haven't actually seen a bid yet, Patel. So let's have a quick look here at US 500. We'll watch two together while we're having a chat about stuff. I'll just set this up with a 28 so you guys can see it a bit easier. So we'll put two together. We will look at, I guess we'll look at the Nasdaq and how it's, finding bid or not finding bid. So we're going to look at the smaller time frame here. We'll just set up 15-minute. We'll set up 15-minute here as well. You'll notice that we do have quite a lot of oversold reads on any particular time frame, but that doesn't mean, again, a bid's coming through. So notice before, say when we looked at this, this particular NASDAQ, we've now hit the 61.8 fib. All right, great time to consider Roth conversion in the down market. Certainly is there. Dumping all my money in, says Anelio. Stocks only go up. True, except for the one time it doesn't, which happens every so often. So good luck there, sir. I hope you do well. I'm 53. That's why all short-term trades for now. Fair enough. I hope you do well in the next couple of years if things do go bad. Any notes on the US dollar yen? I put it at the start of the video. Basically, the yen has hit, I'll show it to you here so you can see it. So US dollar yen, it hasn't quite hit what I would call the massive hold point. But yeah, this is a massive level for it, 140.70. Why is gold down? I guess there is some leverage going through. Gold probably shouldn't really be down. So some type of delevering, maybe people are pulling gold so they can go into other asset classes. That's possible as well. Like, oh, wow, I can get out of gold. It's holding up pretty nicely. Let me now go and buy some SP500. And the question you always get is, if everything was on sale, let's say all markets dropped, and they are dropping. A few weeks ago, if you said to someone, remember, put this in mind, I want 5150, 5100 on the market, I'll put it all in. Now we're there. Well, what are you going to do? Absolutely important chart, semiconductors. Absolutely, that's the big one. Semiconductors, 200, watch that level. What's the best option to buy this morning? Well, you certainly wouldn't be usually buying options. This is a day where most people go and they try to make money from the credit side. But if you've never done that before, you really need to know what you're doing. So I would suggest you don't do that. Late cycle investment, are we talking about close to a lost decade? Depending on how it ends, yes, Nicholas, that's the idea. So late cycle investing, what I'm saying by that, and I've said it for a long time, is that usually you see outperformance by a couple of kind of more defensive style asset classes. Gold, it's done amazing this year. One of the best, well, it probably is now the best asset class of this year based on today. Utilities, very good classic go-to late cycle investing tool. Very, very good. And then, of course, the dark horse, which is treasuries, betting on some kind of calamity and a rate cut. They're all boring. They all are slow. Gold can be fast. And they are like watching paint dry. But that's the reality of late cycle investing. Also, late cycle investing can include the bubble. And the bubble in this case is AI. But the bubble is volatile. So as you guys have seen, 30% drops across those. Yes, XLP is up. That's right. Can Yellen come back to the Treasury purse and start bond buyback program? Maybe there is a chance. RK, please. Sure. We'll do a couple of requests in a moment. Anyone try to inverse ETF? Only heard about them. Many people have, obviously used them. Somebody in the chat will help you out and let you know what they think of them. Personally, it's a way of the American audience getting into basically CFDs. So inverse ETFs, yeah, they're a thing, but you wouldn't want to hold them forever. So Adam, to give you an example, we've seen some large trades that have gone through on inverse, specifically on semiconductor inverses in recent times. Pirate, happy Monday, sir. This late cycle is why I'm so defensive, waiting for things to have reasonable prices again. Yeah, if you have the best, what is the number one thing that makes all of us as investors and traders do well, guys? What is the number one thing? If you were to say, I need only one skill in trading, and I've got one word for you, you guys have watched this enough times to know, what do you think that word is? Just one word. The most important asset of being a great investor and trader, based on that comment, is why we're being defensive. Patience, it's a good one. Risk management, certainly good. Justin gets it here. Temperament. OGB says it's my crystal ball. No, it's certainly temperament. Temperament is what every great investor has. And they believe that they will get the average once again. So remember, in 2020 and 2021, if you can believe it, companies that made no money were the best companies. So when someone asked before, what do you think of RK? Well, I think it's trash. All right. That's what I think of it. Does anyone like RK here? I'm sorry, it's trash. But you might like it. I don't know. Let's have a look at how trash it really is. Well, look at where it came from. These are literally legs that we had from ages ago in our analysis, where we were taking this and saying this thing is going to drop at least that amount. See, and it did. It dropped that and some. But the thing about this fund is this is filled with companies that make no money. So it's not exactly hot right now in a high interest rate environment, even with the drop. Now, if you're asking where does it go, well, the most traded zone and this trend line or whatever it is behind, I guess, would make sense. So where are we? 37.25. Most traded zone is 39.19. So you're basically at, again, a sink of a lot of the other things. This S&P still no bid, by the way. Absolute no bid. This thing is getting trounced. 5.18% down the Nasdaq. That is pretty big. US 500 doing a 3% day. This has, again, hallmarks of very much a flash crash style scenario driven by zero DTEs. Negative gamma everywhere. Let's have a look at the negative gamma situation. It is brutally negative gamma. So the amount of hedging that's going to happen into the open, oh man, I believe it's already feeding upon itself. This is probably single-handedly the main reason we're dropping so much. This would be hedging all over the futures. What do we think about shorting the VIX? I'll let the chat decide on that one. Potential circuit breaker today? Potential, yeah. Like a Black Monday. It's always Black Monday and Black Friday. Why do we always have Black Mondays, Black Fridays, terrifying Monday, terrifying Friday, scary times? But this amount of negative gamma is huge. So all of those options most likely getting hedged here this morning. Doesn't mean it has to be hedged into the open. What is in like on the open, they could be hedging it already. But yeah, there's a lot of offside riders, you would have to think. And look at them all. They'd be loving all these puts. Anyone got these puts? 53.85 puts out there. Anybody got them? 53.50 puts. I am shorting VIX by buying SVIX and SVAL. So here's some of the opinions. Damn SPY down 4% would be crazy. Seen it a few times before. FX Evolution, the AI bubble is bursting and the consumer is softening. Well, certainly you've got the signs of, if this, again, burn it into your mind. If this market does recover over the next month or 2 months or 3 months, and we go to a new high on AI stocks, yeah, don't forget this day. Do not forget this day, no matter what. For anyone that's new, that's coming in and hasn't already seen it, we've got over 2.5, probably 4,000 people here. So thanks, guys. We went through this before, but I just want to put things in perspective. These are the reads that we've seen in the past to do with oversold VIX. Now, this was taken as of Friday, so you can only imagine where it is right now. And what this is telling you is that if you actually line these up, so I'm just putting some lines over these oversold moments so you can actually see what they line up with and how accurate it's been at picking capitulation lows. Pretty bad here, by the way, not very accurate there. Last one over here, so close to the low, not the low point, but close to the low. We'll call that one in. Okay, there we go. And that's it. So it's been pretty consistent through the whole 21, 22 drop, except for that one time. You can always say, except for that one time at picking low in. So if we get bid here in structure, you've got to keep this in the back of your mind. Make sure to keep that in the back of your mind. Some other things that are interesting, NVIDIA, of course, not doing too well on the Blackwell. This is the standard average loss per year. So we do get quite a lot of these negative 10s overall. At this time of recording, we are negative 9% on the S&P. Okay, we are about 16 or something percent down the NAS. If we go over to hard landing versus soft landing narratives, I put that in today's video. Hard landing narratives, obviously they react very differently in terms of what the S&P does. 3 months, oh, not good, not good, not good. So it's bad over here, guys, if that is the hard landing. And the soft landing, remember, all the soft landing narrative really means is that for the next kind of 12 months, we're not going to crash off. And if that happens, then we enter into these two scenarios. So these are the scenarios that you also want to burn into your mind. And this is going to be, we shared this over on FX Evolution. Follow links in the description if you want to check it out. Obviously from Isabella and I think also from Mike Zaccardi. If you check out this 2 months before in crazy recessionary moves, we actually dump hard. Where are we right now? We expect a September rate cut. Anyone actually think a rate cut's coming over the next week? The market believes it's a 60% chance. Emergency rate cut. If we get that, oh, bad, guys. Not good. Emergency rate cut would be so bad. All the charts have been topping patterns since like 2019, says Chad. Better late than never. No cut, no cut, no. Thank you for joining us on X there, Sint. Damn. Yeah, 60% chance of a rate cut in the next week. That's wild. I don't think it's going to happen, but you guys will be the decider. 1.5 months. So we get this fall. We get a secondary dip. Again, pretty normal. And then we get a divergence between both. Now, it's interesting that in all of these rate cut cyclings, we tend to have lots of vol in the recessionary periods as well, where the market goes up, down, and all around, capitulates, gets smashed about this period of time, funnily enough, literally this period of time. Remember, we expect a month to 2 months out to get this type of vol. Then we see divergence of the markets. The non-recession for 12 months only. Remember, we do end up going into recession in many of these cases, and the horrible recession path. Which one are we in, guys? Which one are we in, the recession or the non-recession? Recession, is recession coming? Are we going to see recession in literally 5 weeks, five months, 3 to 5 months? We have a recession. What do you think? Recessionary path or non-recessionary path? Let's see how many optimists and how many pessimists there are. Never underestimate the US elections in November. Yeah, that's just wild. 4K watching live. The panic is real. Nah, for sure. People are definitely freaking out. And I don't blame them. Obviously, these are the two paths. A path of horror or a path of, okay, it's okay for now. But still horror. Still horror. There's still horror. Even this path. Believe me, this path is not the path of safety. This will end up like this. Okay, so what's going to happen is going to go, yes, 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 yes. Oh, God. Oh, no. I'll put a bold prediction out there. I really do feel like if we do get out of this and we keep going through, which I think we will, by the way, and we keep going through and it's all glorious and it's all fantastic, that we're going to see a market that is down 50% over the next 2.5 years. Yeah, it's going to be rude and nasty. We've been in a recession for the past 1.5 years. There's been so many layoffs in the tech sector from Broseph. Thank you very much, Broseph. Some nice research. No worries, Samuel. Thank you very much for coming in here. Recession. Recession is good for the economy to sustain better than inflation, which destroys countries. Rahil brings up a good point here. Now, I don't think any of us want to go into recession. Yeah, it's bad for all of us. But at the same time, don't be like pessimistic on recession. It makes especially great countries actually great. And why I say that is you go through a horrible time, but out of that comes innovation, comes, I believe, the second coming of AI. Because remember, AI at the moment is not really AI just yet. And it's going to be like amazing the amount of innovation that's going to come through it. But of course, nasty. Why is an emergency rate cut bad? Because it shows that the Federal Reserve's panicking. So what that would show is it would show that all this data that we have, all these non-farm payrolls, BS data and everything that we get, and even this panic fear here, which obviously is coming through, it's all real, as in the Federal Reserve is actually terrified. Remember, at the moment, what we have, this is going to be a wild update. Check it out at the end of the day, today's close. There is probably going to be a CTA fall like this. So commodity trade advisors are in this point, capitulation. They are in freak out mode. So they are absolutely bailing on the market, and there'll be a sharp, fast, big movement up here. So what we're looking for to prove non-dead cat bounce is that the CTAs will drop. They will then rise. Of course, we'll put that in the daily show. And what that will tell us is it'll say if that rises with the market and we get great structure point, then we can say, okay, this dip has actually started buying. Let's go over back to the market, though, for a moment here, because we are still seeing everything drop. I just got an alert that the NAS almost fell 6. Yeah, so, it's down 6 almost. That's not the best. Ethereum still trading around the key zone. Bitcoin still trading around the key zone, actually putting pressure on the 50 again. Hit the 61,875 then as well. So it'd be interesting to see if there's any bid here. Ethereum, it's not good. US 500 down 4.32, an absolute capitulation lows. This is really very similar to not so much 87, but this is pretty much a symptomatic flash crash. For many of us, we've probably not witnessed a flash crash. How many of you guys have been trading since 2021? Anyone never seen one of these before? Liquidity run from short from C__B. I almost feel guilty about I'm going to be able to retire early and comfortably by betting on things burning over the next 5 years. Yeah, it's kind of what it is there. 50% GG, that would be pretty nasty. New subscriber, what's the best indicator to watch out for a market reversal? Consistent indicator, you mean? I guess like the one I have that I've got custom on the daily videos often is pretty good. That's probably my best read. It's the one that helped us to kind of, figure out that the market was probably going to soften. By the way, the breadth is still pretty decent. Well, today it's going to get tanked, but yeah, it is pretty decent. So it's like the most bullish bear bust ever. SMH at 198.91. How it closes will be key. So we've said this a few times to the thousands of people that are joining us this morning. Watch semiconductors like a hawk. If you're an eagle, you got to be watching this thing because this is a very key point. How semis react today will tell us what we need to know about this market, whether it means business or not. Hoping for a recession soon. It needs to reset a little bit. Cisco says, I lost a fortune. Oh, wait, I don't have any stocks. Lucky for you today. That's why I'm in cash. Seriously, guys, just chill and buy cheap in 2026. Yeah, well, good for you. You're in a good position and you are being consistent with your approach, which is good. If you are chill and you're not, you've got the good temperament, then you'll do a lot better. So semiconductors, guys, we've got to be watching this one. Again, markets just melting down. Let's have a quick look at NAS. NAS getting close on 17,000. Surely it would find bid here. So it actually fell 6% before to 17,257. GDP is still high, correct? Semiconductors giving up on 200, not yet. You don't know how it ends up bidding when the real market comes in. By the way, real market's still 1 hour and 3 minutes away. I think everyone rug pull is starting now because everyone thought it wouldn't happen until election was over. Yeah, some people probably do think that. Of course, our thought process was that we would get a pullback here, maybe not this brutal. It would come in semiconductors for sure. And I thought we'd probably move about 20% down in semis. To move 30, which is what we've done now, is certainly beyond that expectation. SHJ says money printer incoming. All right, so let's just discuss this concept here. Is it time to change jobs? Might be actually, it's a good point. If you have like a contractor job that's not very safe, what do you guys think? Do you think it's time now to get your permanent contract in, your more permanent contract where you're not the first to be sacked? Is that the time? Is this the time? What's the chat think? What do you guys think? Is that a good idea to protect your job a little bit more here? Catch 22, raise rates, kill economy, drop rates, kill dollar. Certainly there for sure. Recession will come, but VIX seems overblown short term. Yeah, 50 is very high. I mean, 63. We didn't even hit that. What's 63? Geez, I tell you what I actually said on the weekend video, which is that the VIX had rejected off, that is a pretty surefire sign. To see a 63 VIX, that is wild. I can tell you that is not seen very often. Like, I've been trading these markets for a long time. This is rare. Like, to put it in perspective, I have not seen a 63 other than when I first got into trading over here, back in the day. And yeah, the pandemic, and then now. That is incredibly rare. So to think that the VIX hits this very regularly, I mean, it's having a massive tantrum. A massive tantrum. Why a 50% drop? Because we'll pop debt, Gav. Debt's horrendous. There's secret debt right now in these markets. And what I mean by that is, how many of your family members are living on cards, are living on loans for their cars, have bought overly too many cars during when times were good? How many of them now are using buy now, pay later? Buy now, pay later, by the way, like those, buying any kind of product and then paying for it after, or never paying for it, just paying the minimum payments. That's not really tracked by the government properly. They can't start printing yet, correct? Bigger profits in recession if you have money, for sure. Only mortgage, smiley face. Very good. None. Zero. Japan will cause the global crash. They are all connected. WSP is correct. Basically, Japan has been a ticking time bomb for a long time. I'm not sure whether that market will blow, but that's been obviously people's concern. So ever since I got in, though, to trading and investing, it's always been my concern. That in China. 60% market drop. Yeah. No, not right now, I don't think. But yeah, that doesn't look as good as other times it did. Yeah. It's pretty horrendous. I don't even know how we're at a 63 VIX. 63.9 VIX, and we're dropping, okay, yeah, a bit, 5.52, but that's a massive freak out. Every country blaming each other. It's a global problem, correct? The debt is globally stuffed. Everyone I know is maxed out on everything. I have no cards. Cisco is good. I'm so glad to share this special day and experience with you, Tom. A day to remember and learn from. Samuel, these are the days, just like everyone out there right now. We've got thousands of people. Thank you so much for joining us. Sub if you enjoy the channel. We've got some great data coming at the end of today as well for the daily show. And I say great data. It's not great because, of course, this sucks for a lot of people. But at least we're getting good information. And yeah, thank you very much for joining us, spending your time here, and obviously going through what is no doubt a monumental day in our trading and investing careers. I mean, this is what it is. It's a 64.61 VIX. I mean, if you asked me on the weekend, I think 65.3 VIX now. If you asked me and said, oh, I think there's going to be a 65 VIX on Monday, I'd say no. Did anyone know there was going to be a 65 VIX? Flash crash. This is actually full 87 style flash crashing. We've only had a few of these days together on the show, but yeah, I mean, one of the most notable ones I remember was the crypto crash back in 2021. Illiquidity, the whole thing just dumped across the board. Under 50K for Bitcoin, by the way, now. We'll go through all of these in a moment. We're just waiting to see whether the Nasdaq will hit into a 17,050. Yep, that's right. Pretty much most people in Germany not using the cards. Aaron says, I don't have any debt, any credit cards. I also own my own car and my house. Congratulations. None of my family on buy now, pay later. Your family's all like smart or something. Short-term views on semis, Tom. I just have to believe there's a bid here, Fraser, this morning in this capitulation, but you're going to have to be really careful and look for structure. The problem is, can you really buy a call with a 65.22 VIX? Can you really buy a call in a 65.22 VIX? If you like it degraded, like out of control, then sure. That is so nuts. Anyone holding VIX contracts here, you guys are lucky, lucky cats. Palantir and SoFi TA, please. Sure, we'll put it on one of the lists here. You got any thoughts on the crypto market in relation to this? Yeah, I do. I mean, I think the crypto market is at a fantastic level. Obviously, there is a secondary fantastic level, which is the 42K, which most of you guys seem to think will print. This is a little bit of a hidden level, but at the moment, it looks like it may give up on it. The problem is it's no doubt an incredible structure zone. It could create a great buy zone. The problem is going to be that what is going on here with this bloody 65 VIX, and this 65 VIX is very high. So it's creating a flash crash style scenario, and that does open up 42,000 on Bitcoin, which is a much stronger zone than 50. 50 is a good area though. I bought an ETF today. Oops. Oh, well, you've done what you've done, and hopefully it comes back for you. I'm sure you've not bought at the worst level in the world for sure. Most of you guys don't have credit cards or friends with credit cards. Thank you for the sub there. Much appreciated. I feel ill. Sorry to hear that. It's not good feeling when you're down and on these ones. I do get it. I know what it feels like. Is gold and silver moving? They are. They're down 3%. 3% on gold. Was actually up and flat before. Why are gold and silver moving down? It's just a complete wipeout of risk across the board. I would say it's money jumping out of gold and going into some of these other asset classes. I mean, you've got to remember, up until just a few minutes ago, gold was holding like a 1% down session. The rest of the market was getting trounced. I mean, would you move out of gold? I mean, I love gold. Don't get me wrong. I think 3,000 gold is still a real thing. However, because the central banks are buying it, there's a lot of sneaky business going on here, and the BRICS is a big deal. But the US 500 is down 4%. The Nasdaq is down 5.7%. You can get out of gold, which is a pretty liquid asset, and allow yourself to get out of it and get into some NVIDIA or get into some semis today. When's the bottom? When USO bottom is? Oh, I'd have to think it was around here. So USO, basically just looking at oil. This is a very important level for oil. Still no bid. We've looked for bid for days and days. We didn't get a day trade today to the upside. We're back into bid price though. So key level here. We'll keep going through a couple. A few of you guys wanted to look at a couple of stocks. We are just under an hour away from the market open. Thank you for joining us. Thousands of you guys out there. Make sure to sign up for the newsletter as well if you're interested, because we do have, give it a like as well if you enjoy the content, because we do have a close. I'll make, I know this is important for all of us. I'll be putting out videos. I'll be putting out a bunch of newsletters as well. If we see structural turn, at least we will be looking at that structural turn. Nasdaq is getting crunched. It's down again, 17,250. VIX 66. Woo! I can tell you guys, 66 VIX. That's wild. Only seen it a few times myself. So if it's your first time in the markets, that is pretty wild. Can we have a look at BTC stocks, IBIT, GBC, BitX, Matrix? You guys vote what you want to look at here. There's so much to cover, so much stuff. PLTR has earnings after hours. It might be a call if it opens up under 20. 20 is a pretty good support level, as you can see here. It has been relatively strong. It's dropping like everything else. Look, everything across the board is wiping. This is flash crash style scenario. It's what happens. Best time to exit stock positions. Would you consider exiting now or wait for the move up then exit? Historically, you'll get mean reversions in flash crashes, guys. So what that means is that if you look, again, do some study, Mantis. Maybe we can look at it together. Would you guys like to go through a couple of crash scenarios together right now so you can see how it does trade? So a VIX 65 isn't capitulation. To me, it is. It's a big number. It's a big number. Big number. Here from Portugal, we still have tourists spending money, maybe not after today. Go out and sell everything you've got to them. Say, guys, I got a 20% off deal just before they find out about the market. Yeah. If you've got, I don't know what you've got. You might have wares, you've got postcards, you've got everything. You sell it to them. 20% off, guys, today only. Then go buy stocks. That's right. Anyway, welcome from Portugal. Thank you very much. Is it best to look for buy positions this week due to possible bounce? Would you stay below long enough to cash secured puts? So, yeah, I mean, it's a question you can ask. It depends what your risk tolerance is. I mean, if you're going to go with buying the dip, you've got to be prepared to keep dipping and then to scale in. You know, one of the things that I learned very early on is scaling is nothing wrong with scaling. Why? Because all the big guys do it. They build positions over time because they have to, and then they build up as you get good structure. If you're a FOMO freak, and a lot of us are FOMO freaks, anyone out there FOMO crazy person? You get FOMO and you feel like you need to be in. I'm sure a lot of people bought in here. Look, myself included, I thought this was an excellent zone to see a rip, and we did see a rip back up to the 20 moving average. Then we dipped super far down after that. And of course, we're in this capitulation zone down here. But what you could do is, let's say you had bought that rip. Maybe you buy it with a third contract that you were trying to buy because it's a pretty good level, trend line, etc. Good chance as well that the market will rip back into that trend line, then maybe find resistance off it. So you've got to remember this is a very, very pivotal point. So generally, if you get a great level, you will get a get out of jail as well. So if you buy great levels in markets, the market comes back to allow you out. Have you ever noticed that, guys? It allows you out. It says, oh, well done. You've done the good level. Why? Because you've recognized where the liquidity is. What are your thoughts on commodities like oil and gas? Haven't looked at gas, but oil's right at that support. Tom, do you think TAN can shine after a rate cut in September? Cristiano? I don't know if TAN would be the main thing I'd be looking at. There's many other sectors that are probably looking better. It's possible, but yeah. Can you please comment on Solana? Sure, we'll have a quick look at Sol. Now, we did ask a question about what you guys want to look at, so we'll do that in a moment. The main market I'm looking at is semiconductors, SMH, and Nasdaq here into the support. And of course, anything around 5,100 to 50.50 for the US 500. Solana is not really too interesting. I would say it's in the middle of nowhere. It's not at 103. It's not at 90. Look to Bitcoin and Ethereum as your base. So Bitcoin's trying to base at 50. Ethereum's trying to base at 2,200 to 2,300. Better reads on those than if you want to go trade Solana, you can do it. OGB says, watch me, Tom. What's up? No debt, never had credit card. Congrats. That's cool. FX Evolution, you comment on SPX, daily 20, 50, 100 daily averages. Yeah, so you do want to check all of those. So we usually with moving averages, 20 is my favorite moving average, but the 200 is also a key level. So let's actually do the 200. Did you guys want me to go through crash style scenarios so you can see how markets will pull up to certain areas? Did you want that? You want to go through that one together? I'm happy to. We're going to use 200 here. This is actually an EMA, so we're just going to leave that to 20. All right, let's do it. All right, yes. Okay, let's do it. Let's see how crashes work, guys. We will use the SPX for this example. We will do an US 500 code is probably fine. All right, let's do a US 500 code. We can have a look at how crashes play out, how I've in the past done them, because I've seen a couple of these. I got rid of my watermark. Bring that watermark back. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to get rid of some of these lines because we don't really need them for this scenario, and we don't need this, although that is hitting into a major anchored VWAP. That's a pretty major anchored VWAP off that low. Big deal. All right, so VWAP here was a big deal. Didn't get a bid. That's where I thought we'd get bid, and then this one's pretty big as well. All right, let's add an indicator. We're going to add moving average, and then we're just going to basically add a simple And one of the main moving averages that most people use is a 200. Why? If you read a Goldman Sachs report, if you read, I like to make them green, by the way. If you read any of the main reports, you usually get quite a lot of information that says 200 daily. Okay, the 200 daily is a classic moving average. This one is pretty much the key to often finding significant dip zones. And you'll notice here actually that not only we're hitting an anchored VWAP, which is also green, but we're also getting close to that daily 200. Now, the daily 200 is a big deal because when the markets move underneath this significantly, it can be a serious turning point for markets. And it can act as what I call dynamic support or resistance. So if it smashes through daily 200s and doesn't respect it, it can seriously be the beginning of something more significant. You'll notice here quite a lot of taps of this particular moving average. Initial hit over here back in 2023 into 24, the October sell-off where we saw the rally from that point, that actually dropped and then rallied back up. So that was another key little point there. So let's have a look at the 20 moving average, and I think we've got 20 and the 200 here. So again, back in history, 200 is hit quite a lot of times, and we tend to see the bounce. Let's make sure here that we've got that set. Yeah, 200, good. All right. So yeah, how we usually do this is when you get these kind of flash crashes, here's an example of a flash crash in 19. Here's an example of a flash crash in 18. The 200 can be hit. It's a very, 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 very key zone, often bounced off. And you'll notice here we get almost bouncing the structure through it. We get almost bouncing a structure through it, and then we hold it. And then when you go underneath the 200, you generally see it retested from the bottom up. So if we go through and you have a look at, like, let's say when it goes under here and it goes horrible, 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 and then it usually retests it. So the 200 is a fair bet that if you get that zone, generally speaking, markets will retest from the bottom up. All right. They don't just go through a 200 and say, see ya, I'm not coming back. That is not normal. Even during the pandemic, it dropped through the 200 and rallied it back into the 200. Hoz says this is the end of the market sell everything. It always looks like that, Hoz. I'm not sure it is, but yeah. If you're not looking at volume, you are trading blind. Yep, good point. So different ways of looking at volume. Certainly a very, very important factor. So one of the ways that you can look at volume, we'll do some fixed range here, is this, which is, of course, fixed range volume profile. Probably my favorite from the volume profile mixes because you can kind of segment it a little bit better to market. So I'll give you guys a bit of a hint. One of the things I like to do is I like to look at the length of the low to the high. Now, notice how that can change completely. Did you guys see that? Do you guys see? This is the end, my only friend, the end. Guys, not the end, guys. It's okay. It's not the end. It's not the end. It's all chill. It'll be all right. I'm down $400 billion today looking for a ledge. Oh, Sonic, please. You're okay, sir. It'll be all right, man. FX Evolution. So 200 SMA is best valid on daily chart. What about weeklies and monthlies? It's valid there, but on the daily is a very well respected UBS, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. They all chuck it in their reports. Now, the reason why I did this and just wanted to show you it is see how we get that volume profile hit right around this area. This is pointing, like, I didn't actually think we'd get to 5,100 today, so I didn't think we'd have to bring this up, but we are here. This is a pretty critical zone. So all I did was make a slight adjustment to the volume profile. Now, again, do not use the normal volume profile tool. You are a noob if you use the volume profile tool normally. If you just put it on your chart and then you're like, yeah, look at this, do it more from this aspect. Because what you're actually paying attention to is you're saying, okay, this is the low, this is the high of this big bull run since October. Where the hell did it trade the most? Where is the money? Where is the money? Well, the money is here. We know the money is here. That's where it's been bought up. We've got anchored VWAP. We've got the most traded zone. We've got daily 200. It has to be the capitulation range, you would think today. There's going to need to be a bid here. And I would say that is pretty clear because there's too many people that have traded around here. So really what we're doing is we're entering into the twilight zone. This is the area where you would start to really build that case. 200 semiconductors, most traded zone on the way up. Very, very key points. So certainly there. I wonder what Nancy Pelosi had her money invested in before this. $100 billion of treasuries and short NVIDIA puts. Nancy Pelosi. They're all terrible, aren't they? Bloody can't believe it. I'd crack the if I was in America, I'd crack it at them trading insider all the time. US 210 inverted. Oh, there we go. Uninverted, I guess, is what you're saying here. We have to look at that. So yeah, based on this analysis, very key point. I'm actually going to do some Nasdaq analysis with you with the 200. So again, we've come down to the 200. You can see that. We've tapped underneath it. So the 200 is here. Again, pretty well respected. You'll notice what the point is here. First, bounce. Yeah. I'm not joking. The 200, even though it sounds like the stupidest indicator you've ever seen, look at it. Bounce, 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 drops underneath, retests. Can you see what I'm saying, guys, about this? It's not rocket science. It's not the greatest indicator in the world or anything. But what I am saying is markets are inherently bullish. And when they drop through the 200, they tend to retest it. So it gives you that more get out of jail free. Now, that's not to say it's the greatest thing and go chuck the shed on it and the car and the truck or anything like that, but certainly a key point. Now, the difference in the NASDAQ is if you have a look at this volume profile, same setup, by the way, is that it was predicting that this was the most traded level and down here, not so much. So it's actually through a lot of the liquidity. Does that work for stocks too? 200 daily is always a good indicator. You'd have to look at the stock and go back through the history. Have a look at the VWAP. It's not even, it's so far off. We are so far from mean reversion now on the bottom end. So it's truly the elevator down and the stairs back up. But where we're trading here today, as you saw on that NASDAQ and S&P, more importantly the S&P, which tends to be the better one, there is a little bit of a highlight zone that we're doing here. For some reason, I don't know what that means, but I'm not going to read it. Could S&P 500 become a recover, but NAS continue to crash? It is possible due to the broadening of the market as a whole. Yeah. Can you explain layman's terms for the more simple ones, what is happening? What would happen and what personal considerations you may have? Naya, what do you mean? Are you talking about what is happening to the market? To put it as simply as possible, I guess there are three things that are occurring here. One, potential debt unwinding or margin unwinding. So effectively, people are over leveraged into the Japanese market, and that's causing concerns about credit. The second one is the W word, and the third one is effectively the market having a complete meltdown over an interest rate cut that is now needed due to a possibility of the US weakening. Now, that is a possibility. So it means that the jobs numbers that we saw last week, they're looking pretty weak, and people don't like that, and the market certainly doesn't like that, so it's having a fit. Now, have we seen a GDP slowdown? We've got revisions showing that there is a bit of a slowdown. Have we seen recession-style GDP? No. But by the time you see GDP showing recession, we're already in it. So the question is, have we just seen the signs of a recession starting? And usually, this is your sign. And someone just said in the chat that it's uninverted. I technically did. Technically did. Another once off, guys. Look at that. Yeah, we just saw an inversion of the yield curve. Can you please elaborate how Bitcoin is fighting the inflation, doesn't care about recession, but is still dropping? Why is it affected? You've been lied to. It is not that kind of thing. I like Bitcoin. Don't get me wrong. It's a way of making money. But guys, it's not fighting inflation and stuff. Come on. It's like gold. Gold's just a currency. Gold is a currency. It's the oldest currency. You got to remember that we're told stories about stuff. We come up with ideas. Those ideas are not necessarily true. The world is run on three things. I'm going to tell you the three pillars of society. Okay. Debt. This is literally economics 101. Debt, number one. The most important driver of growth, debt creation, debt building, debt everything. And as an economy is going through, and as we're building a great society and a world superpower, the debt always increases to unsurmountable amounts until eventually defaults happen everywhere and it's all bad. Okay. Number two, you can already see that's happening in the US. It happened with the Dutch. It happened with the British. You can go look at Ray Dalio's theory on that. Quite good. The second one is population increasing. So we're always built on this idea, well, they don't build more land, population increasing. Yeah, okay, we just sell to more people and therefore it's all good. Now, the US does have that because, of course, immigration is high. Immigration is actually supporting the economy to a degree, keeping some wage pressure, inflation down. But population increasing is growth. Number three, innovation. So I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, what is the most innovative country in the world? Which country in the world has the best innovation right now? Put it in the chat. You guys answer. Which one? Housing market crash when? Not yet, I don't think. Uninversion, TikTok. Yeah. To put it simply, this is certainly a very worrying sign. You might not believe in the SARM rule, but you can believe in the uninversion of the yield curve. So that is a significant, I mean, it's only just tapped it. So it's kind of like almost a dodge reading, but if it gets through. Some people are saying Korea, Israel, US, Taiwan. It's US, guys. Aussie, come on. Do you think it's Australia? No, definitely not. Australia has 5 innovative companies. So anyway, it's definitely the US. The US has the most innovative companies and generally the best brain power at this stage because they import the brains. A lot of imported brains in the US, smart people that have come in from overseas as well. So in general, US yield uninversion is very bad for the markets. This is something we'll talk about at the end of today. Let's go back over to our US 500 level. We're still falling 4.14%, coming into the crack zone. Let's see if we can get there. We're actually going to use ES futures just to have a look if there's a difference here. I always like to check a different amount. Yes, you see how the futures give you 2 levels. So ES futures obviously different to the other one. And this is, again, why you want to check your volume profiles a little bit. So pointing to the same zone, the same level zone, but just notable. Kathy Woods is Uber Lilith. You play D3, I can see. Falling. Thank you to the guys that are coming out today as well. Appreciate you being at the stream. We just hit a stream record. So I actually really appreciate that. 5,000 people joining us here live across both platforms on X and stuff. Drop us a follow, a like. If you're interested in finding out more about markets, more about investing, more about what we all love, which is obviously, hopefully getting an edge in markets, then we do share some great information in the daily show. Obviously not a great day for many out there, but certainly an opportunity is potentially here. And we have to now decide whether we're in a recession right now or whether we're in a recession later on. But one thing's for sure, markets are flash crashing and you will not see a 65 VIX very often. 65 VIX is absolutely extreme. Tom, can you elaborate on the VIX? Is it not based on puts 30 days out? Yeah, it's based on VIX SP500 puts, yeah. And it is wildly high. I would not have ever expected to see a VIX 65 today. But that doesn't mean that you don't have edge in markets. It just means because, no one knew that. No one knew 65 VIX. Anyone holding a VIX contract still? You are an absolute mammoth if you're still holding a VIX contract. I think unless you forgot about your account. I will be putting out a newsletter as of the close as well, so make sure to sign up for that. We'll set it up. Where is the support line in silver, Tom? Maybe we'll check that out in a moment. What happens if the market, when the market opens, climbing up or to continue sinking? We just looked at a key level. We do have this nailed as a zone of incredible importance for the S&P 500. Between 50 and 5,100 is so important for this market. So we actually hit that just before. You'll notice the most traded zone on the way up. That's certainly a key level. The anchored VWAP and the daily 200. Go back about 10 minutes ago, we went through the daily 200 and why it is often a golden zone. I went 9% UVIX at close Friday. Cool for that. Adam, thank you. Love you, Tom. No worries, man. Love you too. LMT to the moon. We are going to W, boys. Well, I hope not. Why does anyone want the W word? We don't want to do that. Oh, I guess we'll just say it's war. Obviously not. We're so far into the stream. No algorithm's going to find us now. Yeah, we don't want that. BlackRock will crush the markets. I'm sure they're going to collect lots of coins today. Still long the market. So sad face, says Doug. No worries, Doug. Hopefully it comes back for you. Good chance you will see reprieve from a sell like this. Seems like all bad news. What could possibly stop this crash right now? Options markets. That's what's going to stop it. But yes, every piece of news. Notice how most of it's come out of nowhere. Oh, wait a second. Now we've got bad news everywhere. You know what I mean? Everything's bad. All of a sudden, oh, it's all bad. It's all going to explode. A few days ago, everything's great. Earnings still pretty good, by the way. Earnings not shocking. GDP still even revised, still positive. Jobs numbers still positive, not negative. So the market is trying to price in a movement here, a recession movement that it most likely is a wipeout. But the most important thing is we just uninverted yield curve, or at least got close to it. So we'll see how that ends up. And of course, really all we care about is, will this US 500 hit this zone? The daily 200. The daily 200, the anchored VWAP, and the most traded zone. All very important. Plus probably a 38.2 fib of the last run. Do you know the stats following a 50 VIX? I don't know the stats following a 50 VIX, Dan, but I'll get them for you for the end of the day. Rain says, sell, 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 sell. All right, let's do a poll. Let's see what you guys think. Again, the poll is over on our YouTube if you want to join us from X. Thank you, guys. Let's do this poll. We are 30 minutes off the open. We are down. Let's do a quick recap. We went almost down 6% on the Nasdaq before. We're down 14.3% under 50K on Bitcoin, 2,200 Ethereum. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum are at technical possible turn zones here. If Bitcoin gives up about a 49,000, we're probably going to 42. So that'll be the next level to watch on crypto. And that'll be another flash crash fall. A lot of people asking the question about gold and silver. We'll cover those in a moment. Still, I believe gold and silver are very well poised in this market. Remember, late cycle investing, guys. Gold, silver, treasuries, utilities. Very good combo code. Funnily enough, we are pretty much seeing them hold some of the best today. Let's do the poll. What's the W word? It's war, guys. We hope we're not there. We're hoping not there. Thanks for the stream, Tom. Hit the like button. No worries, Chris. Thank you. Sell your winners. Feeling bearish, says Benjamin. Let's see what you guys are feeling here. All right. Start the poll. Bull or bear today. All right. Here we go, guys. We're going to see what your feelings are. We've got a good cross section. This is actually like one of these election polls. We've got so many people here. So vote, 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 vote. Or in this case, enter the poll so we can see what you guys think. Don't look, just click. Don't look, just click. Here we go. All right, let's get the real sentiment. Hundreds of votes. I want to see all of the stuff. Bull trap today. Bull trap, bull trap. I wonder if Michael Burry shorted heavily. He shorted 7,000 times, so eventually he'll be correct, yeah? Can I say bear today and bull tomorrow? You can say that, but that means you bear today, so you got to put bear in. Like the stream, thank you very much. Inverse bull trap, SVXY. Yeah, VIX at 58. Is 65 the high, guys? 65 the high? Gotta be, yeah, 65. Come on. Just to put it in perspective for anyone that doesn't know VIX, you are witnessing history that you very rarely witness. I've only seen it a few times in my trading career of almost 20 years. Over here, and now. It is a wild flash crash day that you should burn into your mind so you know what these things look like. They are incredibly rare, and they end in very interesting ways. Now, this one may be a flash crash that's brought up, so we'll find out whether that's true. And remember, if it does do that, let's say again, for anyone that's joining us, if this happens in the future, however it does that, but if it goes to a new all-time high, do not forget this. This is the sign of the end. So what that means is that although there's a very good chance that we could still rally up and go into 2020, OK, this is usually the sign that shows you the fragility of the market. The market is not good. It's bad. What happened in 2018 when the VIX went crazy? Well, the VIX didn't go that crazy, man. Look at this. If you want to know what that was, all of this was the trade war kind of stuff that happened over that period. Actually, this was the trade war one. This was a credit issue, I think. And then over here, some slowdown in China, and there was huge oil crashing around that period. Do we have to rely on the market anyways if we don't own stocks? No. Tom, would you sell the VIX? Oh, I wouldn't just bet or gamble on something, but yeah, 65 is not an unfair zone to have a crack at selling the VIX. I mean, you can see that it's very rare to hit an 80. That's going to take capitulation. I mean, this is nowhere near. Remember, what happened over here? This is a real freak out from the market. Over here, we shut. Let me just put this into perspective. Shut the world. Okay? We shut the world. In the other time that we saw a VIX this high, banks died. Okay? Everywhere. Banks died. What exactly do we have here? Potential slowdown, potential credit crunch from Japan, and potentially the war concept. We shut the world. Banks were dying in another time, and this one we don't know yet. All right, let's do it. Silver. Let's do silver. I see you guys want to do that. So silver. Oh, okay. It actually hit my second major bull zone. I must have an alert on my phone for this. It's going to be an interesting open. We're 26 minutes off the open, guys. Thank you to the 5,000 people that have joined us here this morning. If it's your first time here, definitely consider subscribing. We'll have a closed show. We'll have newsletters going out this week, a whole bunch of stuff. Jeremy Thompson coming in says, sell, 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 sell. Sell everything. Well, let's see what the poll was. You guys voted, and it is pretty clear. 64% of you have put in that you believe that it is bearish today and it's going to keep dropping. 36% of you are bullish. So if you're somebody that wants to go counter, then certainly there. Silver probably just hit a monster level. Look how beautiful our zones are, guys. You got to say, I know you might sit there today and say, stupid Tom, but realistically, look at this. Oh, it's beautiful. Why? Because, it's really nice. Whenever you're doing TA, if you get a level and you're sitting there and you're right on the zone and you find that area and you go, damn, that's good. Look at that reaction off there. It's good reaction. By the way, the whole market recovering across the board right now. So we'll look at that in just a moment. We are now, people in the US have woken up. They've had a coffee. They've looked at the screen. They've passed out underneath the bench. They've got back up. They've had a second coffee. And now they're trying to buy the dip. That's what's happened, guys. Who did that this morning? Who had a coffee, looked at the screen, passed out, and had to have a second coffee and has now come in and said, opportunity? A crashing dollar is good for Bitcoin because BTC versus USD, right? Kind of. If it's risk off across the board, Bitcoin is still a risk asset ultimately at this point. I had a second coffee and then I had a whiskey. Fair enough. That's true. You might need a second. You might need something a little bit hard. So you can see there bid buying across the board. So we just smacked the level here on silver, which we had sitting. Major bull zone on silver. Someone purchased up. In fact, how much is that already jumped off that level? 2.16%. So this is an early bid coming in here. Let's get serious. Wait a second. So we've got US 500 getting close to the daily, all the key levels hitting into the beginning of the box. Let's have a look at the NAS up 4.55. Let's go small time frame because things are actually a little bit of bid here. All right, so we made a lower low, very important. We now have our discerning factor for where we actually start to see market structure. So lower low market structure here. This is actually interesting now. 17,850 is probably our level to see actual real BTD style buying. And we are now given that as of just then. So Market through here, significant today. Certainly watch. That is now about 1%, I would say, away from current price. The bid is coming in here early, 1.55. So 1.167, let's say we get early bid, then drop later. That would be quite bullish, I think, for the rest of the session. But you can see there, just all of a sudden, all the algorithms started purchasing up. You can actually see it there on the charts. Things changed when that silver / I'm sure many other pairs all hit those key levels. Bitcoin back above 50, Ethereum at 2250, US 500 did not quite hit the daily 200, which would have been sweeter. Oh, I would love that. 50-50 would have been amazing today. Still possible, but initial bid, not enough to actually say, okay, there's a turn here, but certainly an initial bid. Silver smashed the level, went up 2% off that zone. Copper also recovering, oil recovering, the whole market just recovered. Let's read the chat here for a second and see our live started on live charts. Fair enough. I wouldn't have wanted to be sleeping, load up YouTube on the phone, and then load up this stream and say, what? 5% down. Oh, that would be a terrible morning. Actually, you know what? I get that a lot. Sometimes I wake up and I think, oh. When you see something, you know what I mean? As a trader and investor, it's horrible. Q's going to the region of the 200 day. Let's have a quick look here at Q's and the 200 daily. Some good levels that we got nailed in there. We'll get rid of these little bubbles. That's just for the thing. So 426, yep, we're underneath the daily 200. So let's go and look at that from the Q perspective. We should do some analysis here. We'll get rid of these little bubbles. So all of these points, we find buying pressure there just before the 200. We find buying pressure back in October of 23. Again, this is why the daily 200 is a pretty good indicator. Again, if it falls through, it tends to give you, just so you can see, if it falls through, it tends to give you the get out of jail free card. So there's a get out of jail free card. There's a bounce off it initially. There's a bounce off it. There's a bounce off it. There's a drop through, bounces up, kind of around the same price, goes underneath, gives you a get out of jail. Bounce, bounce, bounce. I just want to show you how many times this does hold through. Let's have a look over here. So this was the 15 period. So the 15 period is a bit gnarly because you get this monster sell. Now, if you'd bought there, you would have been absolutely horrified at what happened. We're nowhere near the same point, but you would have been horrified, but it still let you out if you wanted to go. That was, of course, a flash crash as well. Just to put this in perspective, in a few sessions, that fell significantly down. So their flash crashes are not unknown to these markets. It has happened a few times before. I remember them all too well. This is the one that I'm wondering whether we're in, something like this. See this August 07 run? We get this flash crash purchased up heavily around the daily 200. Again, it capitulated big time. So if you actually have a look there, it's a big drop, horrible drop, and then picked up. So again, a flash crash. Notable flash crashes also back in the 2000s. Big sells here near the end. Again, signs of the end are incredible vol like we've seen here today. 65 VIX before, for anyone that didn't know. Currently seeing some bid on some of the markets. Let's have a look at the US 500. Again, this is key area. Volume profile. So we've got a most traded zone right there in that blue line, anchored VWAP and daily 200. What should I put all my money into now? Well, when something happens like this, you can't really say, wow, I'm going to go pull my money into it. If you wanted to be defensive coming into an event like this, it would have been gold, utilities, and treasuries. That's a good rule of thumb. Thomas D, $1.49. Always appreciate it, Thomas. Thank you for the support. Thank you also for the likes and thumbs up here, guys. We are less than 20 minutes off the open, so the bell is about to tick. It's been a wild morning. Buffett sells 50% stake in Apple, kind of signposted. Markets getting crunched. Nasdaq fell 6% before, found a bid underneath the low. For crazy wild people that are looking to try to place purchases, you know, there is this type of thing that is a real possibility today. There is also a drop into a 61H style fib with a low kind of stop loss that you could try. But yeah, the market is obviously having a go at finding a bid here. Silver level pretty much hit exactly where we thought our bull zone 2 was. So that's silver. Gold holding okay at 2.1. And Tesla moved down. We have to have a look at NVIDIA in a second, but probably the most important chart is really NVIDIA and semis. So NVIDIA hit 91.98. So the today move, because this is pre-market, let's have a look here at NVIDIA. 98 plus would be a monster. That would be a huge, nice kind of showing we are buying that someone is buying the dip. So gap fill will be done on the open. You're going to have to think of big resistance is going to be around 97 for semis into the open. And remember, if you're looking, SMH just hit 200 before. What I deem to be a superiorly oversold market into the low. This is big. This is big. Huge. Look at it. It's huge, guys. It's where we go from a market that has been the bullish to changing market structure towards the negative side. Mike Jack says recovering. Hey, it's up 2% off the low, man. It's better than nothing. Is that not some recovering? If you're up 2% off the low, it's better than nothing. I hope we see more major volatility so that I can buy in bulk, getting a second job just to invest entirety of its income. I like the hustle. It's pretty cool. The hustle is pretty cool. 2010 had a flash crash. Yeah, the Euro credit crisis stuff. If you like buying dips, Roku could be good, according to Ben. Their ER was pretty decent, only down due to market downturn. That's possible. Generally speaking, when you're going to buy in dips, you want to buy quality stuff that has what I call elastic demand. So semiconductors, for example, have elastic demand. It's a good chance they're oversold. When they rally super hard. You bring so much value, a king. No worries. Thank you very much. You guys are spending your time here with me on a red morning. So thank you very much for joining us. I hope I can share some stuff. Let's just quickly show a couple of things here that new viewers may not have seen yet. Capitulation levels. I just want to repeat this. S&P 500 top, 3-month VIX relative to VIX bottom. This is taken as of Friday, shared by Mike Zaccardi and Isabella. Good chart. I'll put it in the close for today's session. Often correlated near or on bottoms. These are the reads. These are what happened next to the markets. Obviously, this is a bit of a horror show one. That is the bad one. But in general, you can see here, very good at picking near the lows. I'm just saying this because we are probably dead panning down here at the moment. This is flash crash tile territory. So it's very scary. I get it. But generally speaking, that's what's happened over all the previous times when we've oversold this hard. Of course, NVIDIA news, Blackwell delayed, not the best for them. S&P, let's put it in perspective. We are down, 9-10% at one point there. That's pretty normal for markets. It happens quite a lot. Many years it does happen. Of course, you don't really want to see these if you're bullish, but yeah, it does happen. And jobs, layoffs, still not really horrible yet. Some other things that are worth noting as well, if we have a hard landing versus soft, this is a chart I shared over on X. So make sure it is expected the market creates a freak out into a event such as this. Now, generally speaking, we don't have, of course, a 10% fall, but, weird times. We certainly do usually see a Fed rate cut about 2 months, 1.5 months before. Markets start to freak out a little bit. They go up, down, all around. They freak out usually after the Fed cut as well for the first month. And then we have two differences. We have the one that goes bullish, non-recessionary, and we have the one that continues lower, recessionary. This is the terrifying one that most people don't want to see. Some of you, the people with the second jobs that are saving up, you might want to see this. Some nice buy in the dip style action. But remember, this is just in points where we didn't see a recession over the next 12 months. So if we do end up rallying on and we make new all-time highs, that means that we may not see a recession over the next 12 months. But with uninversion of yield curve, we will see a recession. That is very, very likely. It just doesn't have to happen straight away. So that's the news. Again, VIX, capitulation, Goldman Sachs fear, NVIDIA, delayed year to date, still within the parameters. And on average, we will see around 7 to 8% fall before a Fed rate cut. So it's not unexpected. We're a little bit more than that, but maybe we're a little bit more overbought too. And for this chart, for anyone that's worrying, this chart here, quite a common chart you may have seen. We've shared on the channel. That's in recessionary style situations. And believe me, it ain't going to be 23.5. If we're truly going into a recession, it's that. 2001, 2007, 8. It's going to be 50 if it's that bad. It's going to be bad. Bad. Big money is made when there's blood in the street, says T-Bob. That is correct. Generally speaking, that is right. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys there. If Cramer is bearish, you know what to do. Yeah, Cramer went so bullish last week. It terrified me. No wonder we dropped so much. Is he bullish or bearish, guys? Someone check. Give me an update on what Cramer is doing. Is he bearish? He's the ultimate oversold signal, yeah? Numbers only go up. Bullish. He's bullish still. Terrible. We don't want the Cramer up. Where are we roughly on S&P 500 PE now? I'm assuming came down quite a bit. As of today, we'd probably be sitting at around 2021. Kramer's cocaine bear. Yeah, true. 12 minutes, 11 minutes till the market opens here. Boys, what is the plan here? Am I buying this sale? Well, do the analysis. Daily 200. We've already talked about it on the US 500. Most traded level, US 500. I'm going to zoom this in for you here, just so you can see that, and anchored VWAP. So huge. That blue line is the most traded zone on the entire way up. So you are entering into the twilight zone of where BTDs come in, and that's why there is some bid here this morning. And the bid is coming. It's semiconductors that need to be watched. Watch SMH. Watch how it trades. Everything is hitting at once. Again, most of you would be aware by now that the Nikkei dropped massively over the overnight session. Oh, it's horrible looking, yeah. But if we're on the wrong one, let's just go Japan 225 and use a CFD. There we go, CFD. But what I think you need to remember is this is actually, again, a very, very well traded zone. So if we use a fixed volume profile, we pull that through the whole way up, we are trading around the most traded structure level. So again, they're all sinking. Silver just got smashed into, I'll just show you guys. I'll show you guys all the levels, okay? Let's watch silver. Okay, silver smashes into good key technical zone. You can see here we've got a good this is the best technical zone for silver, so it gets smashed into. We've got the Japanese market smashing in. We've got NVIDIA that's sitting at a 95 gap fill on the open, which is right in that gap fill that a lot of people, it also hit a 75, so it hit a 92 pre-market, which is pretty key. Semiconductors hit 200. Tesla got smashed into 188, which is what we had in the daily video today. Around here is a very well traded zone. Again, you can do your volume profile analysis if you wish to. All of these zones are being hit. So we've got very close to what I would say is it's the best sink level that we have. They're all synced, and that's usually not a bad sign. In fact, I think you could even argue that, oil is synced to the lows. So oil is synced to the lows, and copper just took out my low expectation here and then found a bid straight away from that. But yeah, copper's a bit nasty. Certainly is showing signs of weakness. 10-year, 3-month curve thoughts predicting the future crash. Correct. So basically, we're going to uninvert both yield curves. If you're not familiar, we did uninvert just before. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'd almost say it was barely an inversion, so I'd almost not count it. It reminds me of the one that we saw pre. I'll show you. Where are we here? So we inverted almost a few times, and then that was the 19 inversion. There was another one back in history, I think, that did something like this, and it was a bit falsy. So I know everyone's going to post. I'll probably post about it and talk about it, but that is barely uninversion. Let's actually see real uninversion. James says scam. What's scam, James? It's true. Cramer is bearish for real. I can find where he said it. Anybody can look it up. Your own proof. Jeez. You want me to look up Cramer? We can do this. We can look up Kramer. I don't follow Kramer though. Oh, this is an interesting point from Fundstrat. Didn't mention this yet. This is in today's video if you want to check it out. We're 8 minutes off the open. In the points when they've read it and it's been more bullish, the market has recovered over the next 4 days. Okay. So I think this is still a good read. And it's certainly something that we should take into consideration. The weaker markets where it's dropped off more has been horrible. So speed at which this market, if it does recover, will be important. All right, let's have a look at Kramer. All right, Kramer, what are you saying to us? 2.1 million followers. I remember when he was like a few hundred K. Remember, this is more of a crisis in confidence, not in data. Oh, I don't like that. Check your email to see what we are buying. Oh, God. It's getting worse, guys. What's the stats on Kramer being wrong generally? The relentless selling breeds fake explanations for selling. This feels very much like margin selling off in Japan. Still, if you buy for bounce, it could be. As I tell CNBC Investing Club members, night be short-lived. Mad. Man, he is posting, isn't he? He's posting. What is this? He's posting beans. He always posts tomatoes. Does he always post tomatoes? I feel like he always posts tomatoes. That's some mad tomato posting. What's the significance of inversion? Yeah, it's a good point. A lot of people don't know that. So what the significance of inversion is, or uninversion, when you invert, basically what happens is the short yield, that is the short yield goes over the long-term yield. So the US 2-year, so basically what the Fed does is the Fed controls the short yield. So the 3-month yield to the kind of 2-year yield, the Federal Reserve has some power on that. Yeah. They can basically push it up and push it down and move it around. The market, on the other hand, controls the long yields, the 10-year plus, yeah, the 10-year, the 5-year, because the Fed can't impact that future. So if you have the Federal Reserve pushing interest rates above, or the Fed's funds rate above the 10-year, what that market is telling you is the market saying sometime in the future, the Federal Reserve is going to have to do an interest rate cut. And the significance of that is, why would the Fed be cutting? Because the economy is weak, yeah? Or at least it's perceived to be weak. That can mean recession. So when you get inversion of yield curve, you've got to remember it's a fight between the Fed and the market. The market is saying, we're going to need a cut in the future. That's what inversion is telling you. The Fed's saying, not yet. And what do the Fed always stuff up on? They always stuff it because they either leave it too long or too short. They make the big mistake. So it's a simple answer that it's the Federal Reserve versus the market. So that's the significance. Make sense? Hope that helps. Copper bad. Copper likes growth and growth. Exactly. Thank you very much. Got a big super chat here from thank you very much, sir, from Ram. Says $20. Thanks, Tom. The best mentor on markets and awesome advanced masterclass, everyone. Always appreciate it, man. Thank you very much for your support. It was great to meet you in Vegas as well when we came over there. I'm looking forward to coming back to the US, meeting you again, and many, many others as well. Thank you for the $20, man. Don't touch Intel. It's a dying company losing market share to AMD. Yeah, be careful on that. Actually, how bad is Intel today? Do I dare look? I assume it's down another 10. 5. Okay, 5. Yeah, look, this is just the same as IBM. When you buy a bad company, they keep going bad. So you might say, well, IBM's at 200, but you got to put this in perspective. It was at 200 in 2012. So it's a company that is weakened for years and years and years. And even IBM is actually better than Intel at this point. Thoughts on AVGO? Let's do a couple of stocks here coming into today. Broadcom. Broadcom is a pretty good stock, but of course went overboard in terms of how much it rallied. It's hitting a very good pre-market. So again, if you use a fixed value range profile, you're going to find that, I don't know why it's not coming up, but basically it's going to be around the right trade zone for it. So it's just frozen on the screen. There it is. So yeah, very heavy trade around here at 129. Usually would point towards being a pretty good level for it. So certainly key. Certainly key. All the prices are key. Everything. Semiconductors, S&P, NVIDIA, this stock, they're all at these points. I would also like to just say, like, when you see when you see legal problems, not CRM, CrowdStrike, whatever it is. Whenever you see like an issue like you had the other day, as we mentioned, and as I mentioned to the Market Masters Club as well, we did not. I repeat this: we did not want to have basically a buy here. No buying, no BTD. Why? Look at Pfizer, look at others. When things go wrong that usually create lawsuits, this is unfortunately what happens to a stock. And it may not be done yet. Is it oversold? Absolutely. Will it eventually find a bid? I'm sure it will. But you have to be very, very patient and have a bid-based strategy on it. All right, we're literally 2 minutes off the market open here today, guys. We hit almost the perfect level for the S&P 500 to find a buy. 3.7% down, historically rare. We saw a VIX at 65, which is just bonkers. We've only seen this 3 times, like in terms of buying into this type of VIX over the last 20 years, which is just unbelievable. The market is totally freaking out. We've got US 2K going underneath my most traded zone. No bid there either. Very unusual, strange stuff going on the Russell 2000. Tom Lee will not be happy. Certainly needed to drop positions here if you're in trades around 2170, and then we'll see whether we can get bid there. Nasdaq was down 6. Now it is down 5. Coming into interesting points. Semiconductors should be watched. Tesla's come down to 188, which is 185 now, down 10.77. This zone here is where you have to start looking for market structure, and they're all hitting across the board. I'll just show you guys silver here. We're 1 minute off the market open, so markets are going to open this far down. Again, silver tapping into a very key zone, which we had sitting. Gold, everything kind of hit that, and we found a bid. So we are 1 minute off the market. Here we go. Someone give Pelosi the flip phone so she can buy. Can you give 5 tickers to help indicate a bull trend or bear trends? 5 tickers that indicate that type of thing. I mean, they're all interconnected, these markets. It's the tickers that indicate that. Not that all read perfectly at the same time. You've got to use them when you can. I mean, you'd obviously use put call ratios a lot. So PCCs, PCIs, that kind of stuff. Yeah. That would be one. Anyway, here we go, guys. We're opening up, and we have seen every single market basically open exactly where the futures had. Initial reaction to this seems to be no real super bid. So you'll notice here. Now, S&P 500 came down low before. Again, it's going to be on a fib retracement here. I don't know if that was the low, but it has fib retraced into the 61.8. We spoke about this at the beginning. Often you'll see like a little weird dip there. I don't think it's the low. I really feel like this market can get down a little bit more. Negative gamma is huge here today. So negative gamma is so bad that it's going to need hedging. I would say most of the big players have started hedging it off in the futures. So it's probably already been taken into consideration. And yeah, everything is down. So let's have a look. Apple down 9.6% thanks to Warren Buffett selling a 50% stake. Not quite to the lowest point that I thought, 192. So it's finding a little bit of buying there. NVIDIA opens at 91. So it actually gaps underneath. So NVIDIA opens at 91. Let's have a look at semiconductors open then. So that is a brutal opening. 201, so right on support. This is a serious chart here, the semi chart. So watch the semi chart. Treasury is up 1.54%. Markets across the board are bad. Let me just have a look and grab the sectors so we can grab every one of the sectors. Oops, we don't need that open. And I will grab that for you guys so we can see which sector's coming in really bad. It's going to be semis, probably down the most, 7.29%. Nasdaq negative 6%. Yep, it was before. If you're talking about futures were down 6 on top. TSM down 10. NVIDIA delayed a product. Yep, we shared it before. Blackwell delayed but still the futures market wasn't showing 14% down on NVIDIA. So that's a significant level. I like the semiconductor level. I really do. This SMH level is pretty wild. So have we seen the low in the futures and therefore getting a bid here early? I'd say some retailers will try to buy. How long do you think recovery back to all-time highs will take? Yes. It depends if it's real, if it's the beginning of a recession or something. Usually, if it is real, we will test the 200 daily, which is kind of where we are on we saw it before. The 200 daily is often a good read of what's really going on. So if you go back through, I encourage you go chuck the 200 daily on. If you get destroyed through 200 dailies, it's never a great sign. So there's a destroy through the 200 daily, retest back up, took ages. There's a destroy through the 200 daily, test back up, took ages. You want to hold the 200 daily. When you don't hold it, sideways, horrible times happen. So today we are at a pivotal point. Now you might say we destroyed it over here. We found buying pressure initially. We did fall underneath, but once we took that structure, it was all good. And this structure here as well. So yeah, it depends how you come into it, but usually you want to see bounces around this zone, 5140 market. So semis, I believe they are on where bids will come in. I'd expect some volume to come in here in the morning. Bull trap, price waiting for ISM, I guess. That's at 10 a.m. this morning. So that's going to be in 26 minutes. Defense contractors are up. Look at Lockheed Martin. We are going to war with Iran. I hope not. But yeah, I believe that these are defensive style positions. So let's have a look at Lockheed. 554 breakout last week on these. Yeah, pretty significant breakout as well. Actually, it was about 2 weeks ago, I think it started breaking out. And these are all going to get, pretty big contracts across the world. Look, we're definitely in a pretty sad decade from that aspect. Nice bid here early on Nasdaq. And Nasdaq, NVIDIA. Finding a little bit of strength out of that is a capitulation style morning. To drop 14 from the best stock in the world, that's not, the demand is still there for them. So I very much doubt that's a fair pricing this morning. And that's what markets do. Crypto also holding up 51,000 on Bitcoin, Ethereum 227. I do like that daily 200 idea on the S&P. I really think it's a good key here. Try to keep the politics out of it, guys, if we can. We're talking markets. Better to do that. TLT about to break 100. TLT was up 1.5 before, now up 1.62. So people are asking where's the safety in markets at the moment. I'd usually say gold, utilities, treasuries is safety. But I like that semi zone. 200 is key. So 200 on SMH is a zone we spoke about all this morning on open. We got it on open, and it looks like it's getting bid a little bit. NVIDIA now back to where the gap fill was. So we own the gap fill up on the morning in terms of BTD style at 4.55%. SMH, best chart of the day, the one we put in our daily video, 200, almost hit on the open, 198 pre-market. 198, if you can believe it, just a few hours ago. Absolutely wild. Recovery on Apple is now at 3% better than it was before. Tesla, 188 now. Certainly some buying coming in. Again, perspective, Dow barely down. I know it's down here at 2.82, but really barely down from the highs. So markets not actually tanked across the board. This is mostly a tank of certain sectors. All right, let's bring up the sectors that are getting destroyed and have a look. Oh, year to date's actually quite interesting there, but let's just load up the daily for the sectors. All right, here they go. Utilities and staples. Staples up down 0.8. Utilities down 1.1. Solar down 6, was way worse. Semis down 5.72. You can see they've started recovering a little bit. And the rest of the market, the old style companies up here. Now, interestingly, KRE, while it's down a lot, 5.31, not the worst. So that's good. And financials only down 3. That's not too bad for a crash. If it was in debt, if it was a debt market crash, you'd usually expect that. The financials is terrifying. That's the one you don't want weak. So let's just put this in perspective. If financials were bad, they would be down on the year. Okay. They are not down on the year. They are up 9.131%. And KRE is currently down 1.14% now, year to date. IWM actually crossed from positive to negative as well. Crypto tanking harder than NVIDIA. Crypto is actually showing a fair bit of recovery. But yeah, I mean, you'd expect crypto. Crypto is wild compared to NVIDIA. NVIDIA should never tank as hard as crypto does. Thank you to all the subs this morning. Make sure to sign up to the newsletter as well. I'll put one out at the end of the day. Video coming at the end of the day. Today is a very important bid zone. Daily 200 is a significant level. Chuck it on. Go do some analysis on the US 500. You'll see what I mean. This area in here is very significant. But I still maintain, I think semis are the biggest zone. All those big trades. I wouldn't be surprised at all if all the huge trades that went through here last week, because we saw a lot of them, dark pool activity, they may actually still be buys. So if the market does recover and go through here, it's actually not a bad sign. We do not want to lose this structure, though. You do that, you break a lot of very important structure to the market. So market's recovering, looking a bit better. What's down big time? What is this stock? Robinhood. Oh, it's down 18. That is actually quite shocking. 18. That was doing pretty good too. Robinhood, the retail trader, is not happy. Hershey's chocolate up 0.55%. BTC baby pumping. Yeah. Americans are waking up, the cup of joe, the straight whiskey, whatever else is needed to keep you alive this morning. And people are trying to buy these things. 51.6 for Bitcoin. Hit into my most traded level. Went a little bit lower than I would have expected at 49. Ethereum also hit into the most traded level. Very key there. People are asking, sending a lot of private messages. People are asking here, will it be a 1, 2, or 3 month recovery from this point to the high? Statistically, you would usually expect it's the elevator down and the stairs up. So it does take usually longer. The way this recovers will tell us a decent amount about how resilient this market is, though. Just answer a couple of questions that came in from our private community. I just want to answer these guys. Thank you for everyone, but let's have a look here and see what the questions are. So a few questions coming in from you guys. Oh, more than just a few questions. All right. What do you think of uranium trades around here? Let's have a quick look at uranium movement. I just want to quickly check uranium. Got a uranium stock somewhere here, I think. Market sector. Uranium. Yeah. 6.97. So no bid back into structure. Like most things, I guess, like most of the metal stocks and the uranium stocks and everything flash crashed here today. So no bid yet on uranium, and therefore we just have to wait for bid. So if you're looking at uranium, it'd be in the most traded zone almost, which is about 21.50. But until we get that bid, yeah, we can't be sure. Thank you for the question, Bobby. James says, here we go. James got a good question. Hey, Tom, don't know if it's the right chat. It is, man. But can you explain the live stream about what it means and what it looks like for finding a bid during a pullback? I would like to wait for markets to find a bid, but I don't exactly understand how to find a bid and not miss the opportunity. Thank you. No worries. So what you're looking for in bid, we'll look at it together, is generally a market structure change. So what we saw before was a lot of things hit, but you can see here early NVIDIA and Nasdaq actually took a low, and now it's finding that bid. So this is initial entry of bid. but it hasn't actually created structure. So a structure change would be when it takes out a previous high or a supply zone. And when that happens, then pullbacks usually would be finding buys. So that's basically buying the V. What you're doing is you're letting the market find time frame structure at levels that you think are good on the major high time frames. It's what I call position based buying as well. If you do the day trading masterclass, James, you'll also know 100% what you're looking for. You will see it all the time, all the advanced. But yeah, this particular style structure, you're wanting to see usually this type of steel, then a market to go rally up, and then usually to pull back later, allowing liquidity to get in. And that's the type of bid structure you'd be looking at. A normal person, when they first get into markets, they just buy the dip. And the problem is it keeps dipping. If you're going to buy the dip, generally practice a scale method so that you can take advantage of potentially some different prices. So you might have gone, okay, 5,300, I'll add some S&P. And then today I'll add some S&P. And then I'll wait for the V. Wasn't NVIDIA like $50 a year start, still very high? That's correct. Put things in perspective. Absolutely, that is correct. So when you put it in perspective, you certainly get that idea there. Is this the big one? I don't think so, Kadyan, but we'll have to go through that a little bit. All right, I don't have time to answer all these questions, guys, but thank you very much. I will answer all of them tomorrow. Here's your answer to what Jim Cramer is saying. Do I want to listen to this? We did notice that we did look at Jim Cramer before. Where was Jim Cramer? What's he, other than tomatoes, what else is he posting? Let's have a look here. I want to see him say it's bad. He's not saying it's bad. He's too busy talking. I wanted him to say the market is horrendous and sell, 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 sell. That would have been good. My bond indicator is not down like the market. What do we make of that, Tom? Well, it means that it's probably not a real crash. For anyone that doesn't know, that's something I do put in the daily show a little bit, and we talk about it. It's not getting absolutely destroyed. Kramer's a knucklehead. Yeah, but he's a good counteraction. Kramer says that aliens are not about to attack Earth. Here's a question for you guys. Were the pyramids made by humans or aliens? Okay. Humans or aliens? Let's see what you guys think. I want to see how many conspiracists do we have here. Robin Hood is actually working as intended. Yeah, no, I believe it would be, but it's still going to be down. Both pyramids were made by Dell. Taxpayers, dolphins made it. Let's ask Kramer. Kramer will say tomatoes made it. All right, guys. So the stories of today, crazy ass VIX. I don't even know where that 65 VIX came from. It's dropped off heavy. Anyone actually short the VIX here? Anyone short the VIX at 65? That's a wild number. I still can't believe it got there. I would very much not. I would not think that VIX is going back above 65. That is most likely the high of the VIX, regardless of what happens next. That is a stupid number. Remember, we shut the world. Banks were dying everywhere. Banks were dying everywhere, and everyone was running around the streets, and people literally jumping out of windows. We shut the world. Probably people were jumping out of windows. We have a tantrum. I don't know what's happened to this market from that perspective. It's just so wild. That is honestly the wildest VIX move I believe ever, because the other ones make more sense. This one is mad. 65 is an overreaction, absolutely. NVIDIA 98, yeah, bid buying is here. You can see 3.51. Semiconductors, again, our most important chart of the day. I said it from the start, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200. And we got down there. Shorted on Friday and held. Congrats to you. Whoa, you held. Oh, wait, you VIX, and you shorted on Friday and held. Oh, not congrats to you. Well, we'll just close that one there. That's not cool. Good morning. Is there new news? New sickness is back with a vengeance. There's a PM here from Eco Signal. I don't know. Theta burn. Okay. Slightly worse than expected on the PMI. Somebody said. Question on mean reversion. We dump again or break through. Good point. Mean reversion, for anyone that doesn't know, 20 moving average, which has got a bit to catch up with it. I went long on Friday, 5 minutes before the close, getting mad hosed, but it still feels like capitulation, so I'll hold. I assume you bought the S&P. It's not too bad. Down 120 points is not shocking. I guess if you went the close, 530, so it's down. What are you down? 2.79. If you did S&P, it's okay. If you did NVIDIA, it's now okay. It's much better. Look at NVIDIA. Going strong, guys. Look at it. Yeah. Get back. Foul demon. And that is what that is a foul demon. Tom, is Intel a key at 20? Intel is trash. I'm sorry. Intel is trash. Chat, you agree? Is Intel trash? Why markets drop though? Oh, what excuse do we want? We'll chuck it in the close. But you've got war, you've got margin all over the Japanese market. You've got people having a tantrum about getting rate cuts and expecting the Fed to come out an emergency rate cut, even though the market only fell about 8.5%. Yeah. All these reasons and more. Buy AMD over Intel, says Joe. Gold below 24. Hey. Yeah. Oh, it's like gold below 24. Rain, come on. Come on, Rain. Don't worry about gold below 24. 2,400. Have you seen the rest of the market? Gold is God compared to the rest of the market today. 2,400 below. Is this another trap? Unlikely it was capitulation. That is a very wild sell. 65 VIX. 65 VIX. Tom, I almost sold my Solana at 111. Now it's at 118. Screw that. I just staked it, so I can't sell. Is staking safe? I thought all the staking companies and staking things went dead. Be careful with staking. Bought Tesla at 187, making solid money now. Lol, says Louis. Louis, did you watch the video and you decide 188 was the deal, man? Look at the bid, guys. They're coming in. The ferrets. Kramer is shilling out of control. He's shilling hard time. Everyone on seeing whatever channel he's on, he's getting shilled. They're getting shilled too. Why is Bitcoin getting crushed? I don't understand this. Why do Bitcoin traders think that it shouldn't be getting crushed when the market? Remember this, guys. The Bitcoin is a risk-on asset. It is not a safe haven. I'm sorry. It is not a safe haven. I know Bitcoin, people will say it's a safe haven. It's not really, not proven. You haven't proven it as a safe haven. It falls like the market falls. The Nasdaq fell 6%. You're going to see a Bitcoin crushing. It's going to get crushed. It's a risk asset, but good news, you hit some good levels. BitTC follows the Nasdaq. It follows risk. So like gold, but the opposite. Yeah, pretty much. Gold is the currency, ultimately. Bitcoin is correcting on 0.61. Yeah, so what they're going for is pulling the fib and looking at the fib level from here to here. Good level as well. I love this level. It's a good level. So here's your fib that you're talking about, 0.61, golden pocket. BTC is speculative, no real utility. I like Bitcoin. I say to people, I got Bitcoin. That's a utility. It's kind of like gold. I got a brick of gold. Don't know what I do with it, but I got it. I can look at the Bitcoin gold. Bitcoin I can't look at. Gold I can. No, Bitcoin isn't like gold. It actually goes up. Whoa. Hey. Curie, what the hell? Did you say gold doesn't go up? Man, you don't understand lost decades. Let me tell you about gold. It is one of the best asset performers this year. So you can take that back and you can say, I love gold, because guess what? Gold is up this year, man. Look at this. I'm going to take a little measure. 19.39%, sir. What a hater. Now, let's not talk about the last decade. Okay. Nah. With gold, you got to know there are times to hold it. It has a couple of years of extremely good runs and then hoses everyone for like 10 years. Gold is great when gold is great and it's good now. Remember 3,000 gold. I still think that's possible. And it's crap for the rest of the time. When you get a good run on gold, you got to know when to hold it. And believe me, if we get a real recessionary style drop, when that happens, gold may find a little bit of a bid over that next year. And I'm not going to touch the stupid thing after that. And you might say, but Tom, you're a gold maximalist. Yeah, I'm a gold maximalist when it's good. It's good right now, but it's a currency. It's still got times when it's crap. You shouldn't hold it when it's crap. You hold it when it's good. Gold has its moments, correct. Do I sell my NVIDIA hedges here and buy cheap NVIDIA calls? I don't think they're going to be cheap, DJP. DJP, they're not cheap, man. Your hedges would be worth a fortune, though. Well, they would have been worth even more a few minutes ago. Does anyone think that DJP's overall hedge that calls will be cheap today with a VIX that just cracked a 65 before? Gold inverse head and shoulders on small time frame. Oh, I will check your 15-minute chart for you. Geez, you really do look at small time frames. I'll go to your 30-second chart for you, sir. Wow, look at that inverse head and shoulders. It's beautiful, guys. 30-second chart. We can do it. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, breach. 30-second chart. We're there. What about XRP, bro? What the hell is XRP? Oh, you mean that coin that never goes up? Oh, that one. Yeah. You mean the new currency standard? I rip on XRP only because it's like a weird gateway drug in crypto. I don't know how you guys. The XRP community is like no other. You guys are beasts at getting people in. I met a person at a barbecue. She goes, "I have a crypto." I said, "Oh, okay." And she goes, "I said it's not Bitcoin, yeah?" And she goes, "Not Bitcoin." I said, "I know what you have." And she's like, "Why? Why do you know what I have?" I said, "I know what you have." I said, "You've got Ripple." And she's like, "How'd you know?" I said, "Someone indoctrinated you into the Ripple love." She's like, yeah. Guess what price she had? $4. Oh my goodness. What about XRP? Not so good. It's stuck in a zone. It doesn't find initial bid, but that's pretty normal for XRP. I don't know what it is about that coin. There is no community greater than the XRP community. They are, I don't know if there's some kind of brainwash on it. I'm not sure what's going on. Gold is like a turtle, or GLOD is a turtle. It takes time, but always wins. Hey, look, if we could go back to any time in human history and use our gold to buy things. But I took my Bitcoin back 300 years ago and I said, "Hey, I'm going to give you this ledger with some Bitcoin on it." And the guy goes, "What do I want that for?" And so, "Oh, it'll be worth something in the future." Well, I don't want to even give you any bread. You'd die. At least with my gold, I could take my gold and live 200 years ago, live like a king. XRP is trash. Yeah. I just think there's better coins. Look, I told you, one of my friends, he might be watching right now. Dude, why do you keep holding XRP? I say this to you right now. I said this to you in a text message. I said, why? $150,000 of XRP. Brainwashed. The alt is not the ultimate hodler, but certainly he's a hodler. Brainwashed by XRP. The squadron is there. Sol is one of the best coins. Sol goes up in a line. XRP is gold. USO Throat says, "Took my money out of indoctrination years ago. Thank God." Big rocket. Truly says, "Hodl the XRP. Please stop falling Bitcoin." Are you watching a 30-second chart, sir? I will support Bitcoin for you. We'll yell at it for you. Anyway, the good news is, guys, we've got a bit of a bid here this morning. The Nasdaq actually is cleaned up 3% off the drop. I would have loved to have seen the old stock market, the US 500, to hit the daily 200. That would have been sweet. But, you know, we got our semiconductors. We got the level that we wanted. 200 was the zone. We put it in our close video, and it's at 209. Pretty exceptional bid here this morning. Certainly Wall Street waking up and feeling it. Very important hold zone. Should be able to hold by the end of the day, you would think. Treasury is now only up 1%, by the way. Yield did uninvert, and then it is, well, I'm going to say it. Did it really uninvert? I want the chat to answer this, guys. Did this really uninvert? I'm just going to zoom it out. I'm going to move this down. It's still one. There we go. Did this really uninvert? What do you think? Is that uninversion of yield curve? Or is that a troll? Is that market troll? Nah, I'll fix it for you guys. I'll fix it. There we go. I don't think it uninverted. Did you see it uninvert? I didn't see it. No recession. Recession canceled. It's canceled, guys. We fixed it. It might be 12 o'clock. I'm going delusional. It's 12 o'clock in the morning here. But it's uninverted, and I need to do something. This is why you set limits, guys. Limits. It's also why I have the camera off. Got to. You know, the phone trading is very good times. Shepherd FX. Welcome. It crossed over. It's uninverted, but we went back when it counts. I fixed it. It's okay. I fixed it. There's no uninversion. We won't make a clickbait video tomorrow about how the market just showed us that recession is here. We'll try our best. All right, guys, look, we'll leave it there. We've been streaming for like 2.5, 3 hours. Thank you so much for viewing this morning. Thank you for joining us. We had, I think, a stream record, to be honest, over 5,000 or something at one point there. Very much appreciated. Thank you for spending your time. Hopefully you learned something. We actually navigated it pretty well, I feel, with the semiconductors. You know what we did. We obviously talked a lot about 200. I pretty much just mentioned it. Some charts for you to screenshot if you wish. Here is a chart. I would screenshot it. It is a good chart. Here is a chart about NVIDIA. It is a waste of time, but there it is. Here is a chart about S&P 500 intraday declines so that you can sit there and say, this is pretty normal, and this happens quite a lot, although no 65 VIX. Here is a chart about job layoffs that shows that it's not that terrifying right now. Let me give you another chart. Here is a chart if we get a recession, and I'm going to fix it and show you what really happens if we actually get a recession. Okay, you can screenshot it once I'm finished here. Stuff all of this. We're getting rid of all these ones. All right, cool. We've now fixed it to what really will happen if we get a recession and it's driven by debt. Okay, it's one of those two. All right, there we go. Here is another chart. This shows you that tantrums happen 1.5 months before the S&P 500 technically gets its first rate cut. Then a month after, it's usually quite bad. Here is what happens when it goes into a recession, and here is what happens when it doesn't go into a recession. Horror show here. That's where we are right now. Now, a few months later, we'll figure out whether we're going to burn or we're going to find strength and then burn later. So there is the chart for that. And the final one is, here are some soft landings and hard landings. Yep, there we go. All right. ISM beat. Okay, let's just quickly go. That means the data is out. Look at that yield. Yeah. Yeah, the economy, recession canceled. It's all good, guys. Look at this. This was still a monumental day. Still a monumental day. And what I mean by that is you have joined us for a day where markets have hit 65 VIX, seen 3 times, 2 other times ever over the last decade plus. We have seen a market that is freaked out so bad that NVIDIA sold the best stock in the world, sold 14% on open. It is now down 5%. And you have seen movements that are $1 trillion movements that just happened right then. $1 trillion in half an hour. Bang. Smart Mofos at the rally said this would happen. I don't know what that means. Memorable day. Great stream tonight. Loved it. Thank you very much. Sub. If you want to watch and repeat, click the like. Thank you very much. And I hope you found some stuff there. Sorry, guys. I need exit liquidity, says Solver. Go see Deadpool and Wolverine. Is it good or is it woke? Which one? I'm not sure. No, I heard it's pretty good. Can you make those? I got some X-Men comics, CGC, whatever's. I need that. Come on, buy that. Buy it. Everyone loves the X-Men. If I had 3 thumbs up, I would give it. Thanks for the show. No worries, guy. PMI is out. Thank you very much. And great stream tonight. Thank you. Thank you. But you still believe a 50% move is coming? Sure, in like a year or two. Yep, I do. Some semis are now greening. Cool. Dark pool liquidity, baby. BTC 53K, good. I just quickly relieve this here. One second. Let me just quickly see what the best is doing right now. It's not gone green, guys. It's not gone green just yet. Not just yet. It's a little bit of a bid. Don't worry. 2 cents. What do you recommend investing in right now? Faye, you can watch the stream and have a look. AMD is green. James has been an AMD lover today's stream. AMD is indeed green. 0.66. AMD. Look at it. Schwab and TOS down, can't trade. That sucks. NVIDIA is halted on the German exchange. That sucks. J Bubs says Canadian $1.99 Super Sig. Thank you very much, J Bubs. Tom, you have missed Microsoft and Google. Do I buy for long term? Well, you know, they're all. Look, I have 3 pillars: Microsoft, Google, and NVIDIA. I didn't really cover them because Microsoft wasn't really down enough. I mean, I don't know. It's Microsoft's like, it's at a great level. Like, you know, all these low steals are good. How much am I actually down in Microsoft recently? 17.1%. And it's still overpriced. I mean, it's a great stock, biggest moat in the country in terms of quality moats. But how I see this market playing out, by the way, from based on this, I actually kind of see us doing this. And then we'll see whether that happens or whether this is the because that's where you're going to get mean reversion of a lot of these positions. Look, I love Microsoft, I love Google, I love NVIDIA. They're all pretty good positions, in my opinion. Which is the cheapest of those? Google, by metrics. Which is the most expensive? That's arguable, actually. I mean, it's obviously NVIDIA, but by pure multiple. But Microsoft's not that far behind. It doesn't have the growth curve. Thank you, J Bubs, again. Whoa, tolls down, allowed market to recover. Robin Hood moments. It's possible. Microsoft breached the cycle low, maybe starting to be weak. Certainly, again, possible, but I think that's a low steal this morning. I always laugh out loud when people say short the VIX, but not today. No, that's 65. I didn't do it, but yeah, I would. I wanted to. I wanted to, but then instead I bought semis. All right. See everyone. I didn't buy XRP. See everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you on X as well for anyone that followed and chatted in. And we will see you next Monday for another open. Thanks also to the Market Masters Club members. I know there's a couple of questions in there. I will answer them for the Tuesday open. Join us over fxevolution.com. If you're interested in finding out more about replication trades, how we start to find these things, I would highly suggest Advanced Masterclass. You will know a lot about gold, a lot about stocks, a lot about cycles, a lot about how this stupid system works because it is quite corrupt, but you will understand it from a debt, innovation, and population standpoint, which is very big 3 pillars, by the way. And then, of course, Day Trading Masterclass if you want to replicate some nice CFD style trades and futures. All right. Thank you very much. We will see you in the next one. I don't know what this political discussion is all about, but anyway, we'll go there. All right. I hope the junior trader is going well. My son's doing very well. Thank you. He's sleeping. Thank goodness. Let me check. I got an alert. He is sleeping. Good news. All right. Catch everyone. Bye for now. I got to go look at these markets some more. See ya.